Stop and Q sell.
Right. That should be okay. So there's 5 minutes of chatting for nothing. Probably done you guys a favour, actually. Save you. So it's all right. I've just gone through all this, and yeah, it's okay. I just made a quick video this morning. That's all. Well, just a quick still video, just with the 80% off, the 50% off resets, and I just got rid of some. I got rid of all this to make it, and I forgot I switched the mic up. So I hope you can hear me loud and clear now. So mic's on, everything is showing. If I find mic is showing, everything looks good to me. Yes. Okay. Timothy, good morning.
Iceberg ES5.
Indy, how are you? JP, good morning. Good afternoon. Brick, afternoon, fellas. Can't hear you. You can now, hopefully. No audio. I think you got some now. What's how you doing, bud? So I hope everyone's okay and alive and kicking. As I was saying, there is a channel going up here. Hopefully, I don't like that. See, I'd much prefer to have two legs. I'm not taking a bullish bar on there, really. I hear you. Excellent. So what I was saying is I have done some trading this morning. I tend to trade my valuations and speed them up a bit, so I'll drag that bit in there. I picked a new one up last night because obviously the 80% went out last night, and I put $2,000 in that this morning. I just wanted to get it up to the other two. There's 3 PAs there. 2 are on $400. One's on $2,400. So the 3 PAs are over $2,000 now, and I'm trading 4 contracts. So three trades over those 4 contracts, and that will pass those.
Stop
so that
and
will
Q
then give me
sell.
6 PAs. So let's have a little look.
Stop
Channel
and Q
break,
sell.
new low. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, strong liquidity at 15. Now, liquidity now has been bought up. 7's the lowest, which is about here. So hopefully, I would expect
Sweep ES.
whether
Trade
it's a fair
ES by
breakout or not.
48.
15, there's strong liquidity there. There's some at 12, and there's some between 18 and 19, which is, let's put it about there, somewhere like that. So I would expect to get a new, but it might fanny around here a little bit before it pushes up, so we'll have to see. We can hear your book map. I need to get a bit more organised than there we go. That's got rid of it. It's annoying, that book map, isn't it? It fries my brain, that does. I need to get a bit more organised. What it was is as I mentioned, well, you might not have heard me. I made a quick video, just a still video really, so I got rid of all this down here, and I was a bit behind actually trading that. I got out here, I traded that push a little bit. It looked like to me like we're going to have another push. So there we go, very, it is annoying, isn't it? I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense. Does it tell you anything? I don't know. It tells me, I just want to turn the volume down, but okay, so maybe this is just a failed breakout. I don't know, but okay, there's some strong liquidity at for here, which is the top. So maybe leg break, leg. Maybe it's going to retest these tops and push higher. We'll see. Bit of a frustrating day yesterday, but I managed to get through it without any stupid mistakes. I don't mind those choppy days because it's a good exercise in patience, because patience is one of the toughest things to master in trading, and it's something that I've found hard. So whenever we get a day like that, a choppy day. I couldn't really see. There was one trade, I think, but it wasn't great. It's always the same, isn't it? You know, after the fact, depending on how the market goes, a trade that was average or a little bit risky could look pretty good. So it's easy to go back over. You know, if I had to go back over here and find trades, I would go, okay, there you go, second entry. Now, before we saw all that, it's a crap second entry in my opinion, because I like it to push through there. But we can see what happens. So you would say, yeah, it's a second entry, it worked. So it's easy to mark these after the fact. But I could only see one yesterday, and it was just too risky in my opinion. And I seem to be in a good place at the moment. The trades I'm finding at the moment, I'm just in a good place. The only thing I can put my finger in is I'm just fed up of taking naff trades and losing. And at some point, Penguin just a few ticks. I did have a quick look at his. He actually traded because, if you remember, when I finished, it was more or less just above here, but it actually went up there and did another channel, didn't it? And I think, did he take something up here, if I remember rightly? Something quite high. So I was done and dusted by then. I tend to do me 3 hours and then ditch it. But but there wasn't a lot in here really. And, you know, I tend to go for 2.25 points, maybe a little bit more sometimes. So if I was scalping a point, then maybe I might have a go at something a little bit, you know, but there you go. I don't, so. Well done, lads. I've been following your path, mate. Thank you. I'm amazed how quickly you've progressed with your patience. Thank you, Speedy. I appreciate that. Too late for me as well. Yeah. Speedy is one of the toughest things to master, mate, isn't it? And I have really struggled with it at times to time. But what I will say is you guys help me because you watch me. Now, is doing something stupid in the comfort of your own home when no one's looking but you. But when you've got people look, I mean, you know, I don't know what job you do, but, you know, if you're at work and all of a sudden the bosses come around looking over your shoulder, you tend to do a little bit of a neater job, don't you? So that was always my principle when I started trading. I wanted some people to watch me because I was less likely to do something stupid. Now, I will say in the 6 months I've been streaming, it's gone quick. There's only once where I've blown an account live on stream. The rest when I've come back later. So my biggest problem was coming back after the trade, after the stream, when I knew no one was watching me. And I seem to have dealt with that over the last week. I haven't done it. And I haven't done that before. So that's good. So I'm definitely improving my patience and I'm making better choices. And now I'm doing that, the accounts are building nice and I've got a payment. So it just goes to show sometimes, you know, the things that are staring us in the face every day that we hear again and again, patience, discipline. It's very hard to get it in your head, isn't it? You know, hearing it and doing it are two different things. But at some points, I think you just get that pissed off with just losing and blowing accounts and feeling depressed. I think something changes. I mean, you can train the body and the mind to do lots of things, can't you? You know, given the right work. And I think I've always had that, you know, thought process that trading is a time thing. It's a numbers game. The more you do it, the better you get. But we're just not used to losing money like this on a regular basis. And just, you know, we're not programmed to be able to deal with these types of losses. And when it happens, you know, on a daily or weekly basis, it's tough. So, tell me about it. Oh, I'm struggling big time with the patience and rules and everything. I'm working on it now. Worst feeling in the world, yeah. You guys know exactly how I feel. Everybody who's ever taken up trading or had a go at trading or spent maybe 6 months trading knows what it feels like. But you try telling someone who doesn't understand. You know, my wife will go, well, just walk away. Yeah, okay. It's not that simple, is it? I wish it was. If it was that simple, everyone would be doing it. But I do feel like I'm in a good place. But I've gone from having that sickening feeling when you just buy and sell. You know, after the stream, sometimes the stream would finish. If I'm down, market's going down, I wouldn't wait for a setup. I'd just go sell. and then I'd try and scrappily get 2 or 3 points, or 2 or 3 ticks. Sometimes I'd hit sell 5 times and do 10 contracts and try and get a couple of ticks. And I'd try and fight my way back. So I'd basically gamble. Now, sometimes it worked, but most of the times it didn't. And when it doesn't, you just walk away with disbelief and a sickening feeling. And I got fed up with that feeling. I really did. It's a horrible feeling. But for a week now, I haven't had it. And in fact, what you messaged me the other day and said something about a stress-free trade. I did one trade. And it does feel stress-free. You know, I keep reminding myself, I don't have to take a trade. If something's not right, I don't have to take a trade. I'm in control. But it does make a difference. When you know you're only taking good setups, that horrible feeling goes away. And I like the feeling I get now. The feeling I get now is it looks like a good trade. I've done my job. I've done what I can. I have to let it go now. And if for some reason it doesn't work, then I put that down to lack of experience and a lesson I need to learn. And sometimes you'll lose a few trades in certain setups and you'll learn from them. Something, you know, next time it happens, market's just about to open, something just won't feel right and you'll leave it alone and, you know. But that's it. You've got to lose and you've got to lose and you've got to make mistakes. It's the only way you ever get anywhere. But it's the stupid stuff that just used to frustrate the hell out of me. I just couldn't seem to stop it. But fortunately, I'm in a good place at the moment. And funnily enough, I've managed to get a payment. So it just goes to show. Okay, market's officially open. Pure horror. Oh, well, yeah, we do. It ain't nice, is it? It ain't nice. Chris James, my to hell moment, was building a cat over 2 years and then losing the whole thing in less than 2 hours. The only thing you can do from that, Chris, is learn from it. Okay, so we've had this channel, we've had a break and a bearish bar, but let me have a look. That liquidity's gone. There's nothing I'm doing here just yet. I'll be coming back into this range, possibly. That's triggered above there. So maybe, yeah, I'm a bit on the fence as to know what's going on here. This is looking like a starting of a setup. Okay, let's break below. Let's see if this comes down here. It's at the lows anyway now. I wouldn't have taken that because it's a first entry. That's a lower high, but it's finished literally a tick or two. So it's just too dangerous, that is. There is liquidity at 402, which is, let me just stretch this up a bit, which is here. So I expect that to at least push through there. Unfortunately, it was a channel with a break, lower high, but like I say, it's about 3 ticks from the lows, isn't it? Having said that, there is liquidity now down here. There is liquidity 88 down the bottom here as well. So maybe we are pushing down, but it's a bit too late for that one, I'm afraid. It may make it, but it is a second entry short and it is a lower high and it is probably going to get to the lows, but there isn't much there. But it would have made 2 points, so that would have worked. But market's just opened. Did anybody take that? I think that one was risky because a lot of the times it'll break below and push up again and give us 2 legs. But that one, when it triggered above there, you could have took that as a golf and bar and put your order, but 1 tick below there. But anyway, I don't mind letting that go. It was just a bit too low for me. I prefer it to push through that EMA a little bit and then come down. Okay, so areas of liquidity. There's some at 207. ATR is a little higher today, so 207, which is around about there. There's some at 204, which is the top of the range, and there's some at 400, which is here. So we may push back up here. 404, pick up a few more sell orders and come down some more. We will see. Yeah, okay, so 80% off now. I had a bunch of them yesterday. I had about 12 or 15 of them yesterday. So if any of you guys, I had about $130 from them. That's bloody good, that was. So if you took any evaluations yesterday, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I had a bunch of them. Just it popped up this morning, affiliate link, and there was about, I don't know, there was 15, 18, something like that. So if you did use my code, I really appreciate it. So yeah, they've changed it now to 50% off resets. So I think a reset now is $40. But in my honest opinion, I don't think it will be long before they have 80%. They did the same before. They had 80% off. They brought in this 50% off. Looks like they may be ranging a bit. They brought in this 50% off resets. And then a week after, they brought the 80% back. Or was they bring the 90? I can't remember now. But, okay, so liquidity levels here. And there's some at 15 as well. I think we may be pushing up a bit more. We'll see. So there's some as high as 15. There's some at 11. Let's just copy, paste. Let's have a look. Some at 11. Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? Rodian, good morning. Or good night for you, isn't it? Where is it? Half 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, half 8, half 9, half 10. It's about 11:30 at night for you, isn't it? So appreciate you hooking up with us at that late hour. SW Blaze, good morning. So yeah, it does look like we're pushing up. Now, I will say we've touched here and touched here a little bit, so it may just be a breakout of a range and it might come back in. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, that's pushed up to 12. There's some at 12 there. And 15, there's some really strong buying going on. Yeah. So some at 15 now, some at 19 up here. So, yeah, getting late. So, it looks like there is a channel of sorts. So if we can get another, let's have a look. We can get another pullback to here, maybe retest this top somewhere. Strong at 15, really strong there. So let's extend that bit. There's a bit. Yeah, 14, 15, so around that area. So I think we're going to get into this area here. Let's have a look. 15 and a quarter and some at 19. Yeah, if we can get a bit of a pullback here, then I'll go along there. If we can get a setup. It's a bit of a funny old looking day so far, isn't it? Yeah, it's that strong at the moment. It may not even get down here. Oh, maybe it will. Couple of pulls. Come on, couple of legs down. You need to get lower than that. I'd like to retest this because it did. There is a little bit of support there. You can see it clearly. Tick above that and then come down. Come on. Very strong at 15. That is my area that I would go to, 15. Come on, tick above it and come down. Hey. Tick above it. Another leg down. That'd be beautiful. Come on, get above it, you bugger. Very strong at 15. In fact, it's 15 and a quarter. Stay there. Okay. Hidden second entry long, that does, mate. Let me...
Order submitted.
Now, if we can get a nice strong bull bar there, I'll take that. It's going to have to be strong above there. Maybe a higher low. There is some buying around about 4 or 5, which is here. So actually, let me just get rid of that. Let me see if I can place this in a nice area. Where's it fit the nicest? Someone to say, isn't it? That fits pretty well, doesn't it? We've got a touch there, couple of touches there, a few touches there, a couple of touches there, there. Okay. Come on. Come back a little bit. Well, it's going to wait for us, I don't think. Come on, give us a little pullback. I was tempted to go there, but it's not a setup really. It's too dangerous. It's probably going to work, but I have to behave myself. Depending. Salia, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so that's pushed up there. I thought as much, but there just wasn't a setup really. The strong liquidity is at 15, so I expect it to push up there. Unfortunately, there's no real setup for us. You could have said there was a hidden second entry long there if there was a bullish bar, but those two you couldn't take, and then it just sort of went. So I did consider going there, but we may have had a leg and then another leg and bounced off here and pushed up. So unfortunately,
order cancelled.
There was no setup really there, although I pretty much knew what was going on. And that is frustrating, but you have to follow the rules. Otherwise, you know, occasionally, a lot of the times it'll work, but it'll always be the time you decide to jump in that it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, that's a shame. Pretty much knew it was going to 15. Don't miss the boat there. Yeah, see, really, there's no setup there as much as we sort of had a fair idea where it was going. This liquidity, we got a breakdown here. You could have said it was a hidden second entry long, but there was the bar, really, and it was just naff, to be fair. Then we had that one, and then we had that one more of a doji below the EMA, but I suppose if you're going to take a risky one, that will be the one to take, but it isn't really a setup. That's the down thing. But it is slowly clawing up, and, you know, if I'd have been a betting man, I'd have said that was going to push up to 15, and it did. But unfortunately, if I'd have gone long there, it would have come down here and bounced off here and given us a perfect second entry long and then pushed up like a rocket. It's always the way when you don't go in, it jumps up, and when you do, stitches you. But yeah, you have to follow the rules. It's one thing I've learned, you have to follow the rules. And as tempting as it is, excuse me, but you know, loss after loss after loss after loss after failed account, sooner or later that brain just gets hammered with the wrong message. And sooner or later you realise this is all you can do. You can't do anything else. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so there's some at 20 and there's some at 19, which is in the middle of there. There's some at 14. Let me have a look. The buy orders at, no, my mistake, 11 and 12. There's some buy orders at 11 and 12. Around about here, so we may get a couple of legs, and then I think we'll go some more. Now we may have a bit of a channel working up there. Let's have a look. Like it. Like it. Like it. So we may, so we've had this break out of this little range, we've come back, we've had a break there, we've come in a little bit and pushed up strongly. So to me, now this is going a bit sideways, so well, I'm hoping it's going to go sideways to here, drop down a little bit, pick up this liquidity and then push up. But that channel fits nice. That measured move is clearly played out. Bum. Yes, pending buy targets 4525. 4525. 4525. Yes. I'm assuming everyone's on the 09 contract. Okay, touch here, little overshoot here, and I have to be aware of that. We had this last week, if you remember. We came over here, had second entry long, I took it and it came down and got me. So, touch here. We had exactly the same. Well, it's clearly an overshoot now, no argument there. Okay, so the top of the tree is there. Now, there's no other liquidity above there. There is some at 40 a little bit further on, but there you go. We reach the big MM. How big did you go, mate? Did you go from here or did you go right from the bottom? I'm assuming you went to the bottom, didn't you? No. Okay, so if you go from the bottom, I don't know whether you do that or not, but yes, look at that. I tell you, one ever tells you the market's random, it just goes to show how wrong they are. Look at that. In fact, that's a tick higher. I mean, look at that. Doesn't get any more. But I don't know really how markets can move that accurate. You think there's a lot of sort of randomness in the markets. There isn't really, is there? I mean, look how accurate that is. So clear. I mean, you've got a leg here, and then you've got a sort of a couple of legs of correction. So we may end up having a nice trending day. And in all fairness, the S&P is really motoring lately. It's really moving. And I got to say, when it's like this, it's definitely much easier to trade. So there is a possibility we may end up something like that, and that would make sense. Strong push up, a little bit of move in this top tier, strong push down, moving in this bottom tier. Now, I'm not going to put it in just yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if it comes back in again at some point. So now, clear overshoot, so it is possible we could get a reversal, or certainly a break. So, liquidity, 11, which is here. Leg down, break, leg down, maybe pick up some of these buy orders around about 11 and a half, and then we got some liquidity at 18, 19. So we got liquidity there, and 19, and up as far as 21, 22. So let's put it around about there. It may come back and retest this again. Let's leave it there for now. Okay, so leg, break, leg. Now maybe we'll either have a reversal here or it come down, but for me, it's still looking like it's pushing up. So fortunately, that was easy to read there. It's a clear breakout. So let's see where this comes down to. The lowest lump is there. Maybe a touch lower, so that leg and a break, followed by another leg and Q target. Bacon on the UK again today, 26 degrees, well, 27 at the moment, and it's bacon. Hot night last night, fan on all night. Unfortunately, we don't have air conditioning as a rule in the UK, but I am tempted to buy one of those air conditioning units because there's nothing worse than a naff night's sleep. Fortunately, we got a little pool in the garden, so when it gets too hot, I can have a dip. Now, it sounds a bit glamorous, but it's just 12 foot round by about a metre deep. But it's enough to cool you down. Okay, strong liquidity down here. Not as strong, but it's there. Tyler, good morning. Got 2 from 2. Good on you, mate. On the ES this morning. Excellent. Calling that a trading day for me. Why not, mate? I'm not a fan of just sticking it out. If you can get 2, then get off. Even on a choppy day, if you can get 1, then get off. It depends how many points you get. But okay, so there is a measured move here. Plus there is some liquidity there. And there's some of it further down in case it comes in here. But now, measured move. Let's see if that's given us anything. Well, strangely enough, Touch, touch, touch. Now. You've got to be careful here. Now, let me bring that down a bit. Let me take that up a bit. Maybe a bit of a spike. Tops are fitting. It's hard to say, isn't it, really? I'm not a fan of these really steep channels. I'll get rid of it for now. I'm not a fan of them. I'd rather a steep channel when we've got a full day. Okay, I did say there was some at 3 and 4, which is the top of this. May retest this, so that's played out. I did say there may be a reversal. Stay there. Okay, nice channel. Okay, so liquidity. Let's take one of these. 3.5, 4, 4, 3.5, which is about here. So there is a bit here, a little bit of selling here. So if we can get a couple of legs up, I expect it to push down. Now, I do like this size channel. Touch, touch. So at 15, let's put that there. And then there's a chunk, 3.5 to 4. Let's say about, yeah. Now we had the same here, really, slightly shallower, but we had a break, and it was this first low that came down. But then we had this one, which trapped any possible longs, thinking they're going to bounce off here. Tempting that one, but I'm going to behave myself. I don't like taking these first entries. It's probably going to work, but every time I take them, it'll trigger me, go up and come down again. So as much as I don't want to let it go, I have to. Still hitting this liquidity. Yeah, it's low enough really to push down. Now I can't see it going back up, but yes, it'd be interesting to see what people think of that. But it's a first entry. But if you look, you've got all 3 bars in a line, and they're all closed just right below the EMA, and the EMA starting to dip. So I don't know. Maybe traders will take that. But unfortunately for me, it is only a first entry. And if you take a first entry and you lose it, then it's because it's only a first entry. Sometimes they'll make it. Sometimes they won't. But there's nothing worse in being in a trade that you know you shouldn't be in. It's a horrible feeling. So liquidity at 10. Maybe this has given us a little bit of a pullback. We haven't made a new low yet. There is this liquidity down here, so there is some liquidity around about here. So maybe this is a higher low. Or it is possible it's a bigger channel. Let's just check. Okay, if that can break above there a bit and come down nice and bearish, it's a second entry short. But it has to be really bearish for me to get involved in that. Okay, so we've got a leg down, made 2 attempts to go higher. That's what the panda guy would say. Okay. If this falls bearish, I'm going to have to wait for the lower high, I'm afraid. So that has triggered. But I don't like what that's doing. So if we can wait for lower high, make one attempt, two attempts. If we can make another attempt, then triple test. But I'm not a fan of that trade at the moment. It is a second entry short. It's just not. It's not pushing down as strongly as I'd liked. That means to tell me there's not a lot of traders picked up on that one. Yeah, liquidity is strong at 212 and 215 there. Now, if you're in that trade now, your arse will be twitching. Now, that is a failure, so that is a better trade. Let me just get an order ready.
Order
just in
submitted.
case that finishes bearish. Not bearish enough, I'm afraid. I want rid of that. I don't like that at all.
Order cancelled.
Okay, so triangle once, triangle twice, failure triggered. I'd say it's probably going to come down, but I don't like it. I don't have a nice rosy feeling looking at it. It could be working up, because it is possible that is like that. We've had a break in a new low, so I have to assume that, and rightly so. So if you took that trade, you squeezed 2 points. If you took that one, you got stopped out. It's just, it didn't look right. Now, excuse me, it didn't look right to me when I had that channel. Now, you could say that was the channel, but in all fairness, it only really tested it twice. So it's probably a safer bet to say, there's our channel, there's our break, and there's our new low. So it looks like we're moving up again. Let's have a look. So, but you can see how that tempted traders in, can't you? Look at that, second entry short. It's tempting, you know. Maybe as you took that one, in fact, if you took that one, depending on how many, you may have got 2 points. Yes, you would have got 2 points off that one. That one you'd have got stuffed. But the fact that it didn't come down that low when it made me up, that was what made me nervous. I'd much prefer it to come down to here and push up, not almost all the way down. So maybe now, maybe this is a bigger channel. It's hard to say. Right. Liquidity levels 15 is still there. That is gone. So let's say you start this as a new low. Try go once, try twice. See, it is possible that this could be a channel with that in, and we're just making a few attempts to go high before it comes down. It's possible. And that might be it. See what I mean? It just didn't feel right. The liquidity levels up here aren't as strong. So maybe that is like that. It does fit okay. It's the type of trade where we had a push down, then we go sideways a bit, that you get in a channel. You think after that one, okay, we're going up, but look at that. That to me looks like it's going to make a new low. 403 is strong, which is there, very strong. So I'd say there's a good possibility that's going to come down here. There's still liquidity there, but it could. Could be a bunch of things really, but I'd say it's likely to break this low. That it's looking bearish at the moment. Okay, Tanner, window unit are more efficient. Window unit, I'm not with you there, bud. You might have to explain that a bit more. Window unit. Window unit, you don't know about something like that, are you? No? Arrange. Okay, so that's worked anyway. So that's the thing really. So you see these two pushes up. You may have took that one. If you didn't take that one, you may take that one. It's a second entry short and you're thinking we're going to make a new low. We did. But we triggered it. We triggered them shorts, pushed up a little bit and then came back down. So it's a bit unfair there, but I dare say there have been some traders trapped there. I mean, it is a second entry short. It just didn't feel right to me, which is why I didn't get involved. Because you could take this so many different ways. I mean, we had a push down, a little bit of a break and a push down, then we had a bit more sideways, which is down, which happens all the time in a channel. We'll go down, we'll go sideways to the other side, and we'll go down again. So whether you class that as a channel, or whether you class that as a channel, I think sometimes it's safer to take that option and to say, we may not come down, but look what happened. After that trapped a load of shorts, you think, there we go, we've been pushing back up, but look, we pushed up a little bit, came up about 3 or 4 points, and then came back down, made a new low. U-shaped window unit is most efficient. Portability of A and C. I'm not with you there, bud. I'm not with you there, JP. U-shaped window unit. U-shaped window. Are we talking about PVC windows here, are we? Sun here. Needs to come up. Minimum 44.11 here. Yeah. So, okay. So that channel did play out. So it is a little bit choppy in all fairness. I thought when that started pushing up, we may develop into a channel, but maybe we won't. So maybe that's the top of the range. Let me just clear this up a minute. Some at 20. Let's put these out of the way a bit. Strong 0304, which is here. Let's get that out of the way a minute. Let's make it a bit clearer. So this might be a range. See, we're working in this bottom section of it, aren't we? And then we push up and we're working in this top section of it with a breakout. So possible channel down, it's hard to say. Trouble is, if you get these wrong, I mean, that would indicate possible second entry short, but if you've not got your channel right, it can go wrong. We are talking about air conditioning. Oh, are you really? Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Air conditioning, yeah, I wish I had some air conditioning here. I'm sweating me knackers off in this room. It's about 27, 28 degrees in the UK. Now, that might not mean a lot to you guys in the US, but to make little old me, it's bloody hot. Tick away from grabbing that liquidity. Yeah. So, it's gone a bit choppy, isn't it? It's hard to know exactly what's going on now. So we've had this. We've had a few pushes up. We retested these tops and then managed to push through and then push down strongly. Possible second and short. I don't like when you get an even bar like that, even match, and you got two bars which look identical. We could have a leg, a couple of pushes up in the leg. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. It has tick below. So there is that liquidity down here. It's quite close. So it may come down, but I don't bloody know. 1, 2. It's bouncing off this line here, so there is some support there. In fact, that support extends over there. So 1, 2, 3. Cool, what I wouldn't do for air conditioning. In fact, I might get myself one of those small units off Amazon. They're about 300 to 250, £300 in the UK. Better to have a nice night's sleep. I can put up with any amount of heat in the day, I don't mind that, but at night, nothing worse than having a tossing and turning night. Muggy as hell. Nice read, Lance. Thank you. What? Much appreciated. We see these types of things quite a lot, though. You've only got to see something that stung you in the past, and you just get that. It's like I described it last week. You know, if you've driven somewhere in the past, maybe a few years ago, you've never been there before, and you happen to go through there again, something just seems familiar. So if we lose a trade or something goes wrong, something sticks in your head somewhere. Houses don't. No, they don't. I don't know why, because it's definitely getting warm in the UK, but I mean, we had 42 degrees centigrade. I mean, that's proper hot. It is for the UK. But no, people don't. People don't, as a rule. I've never known anybody who's had air conditioning. Obviously, offices and shops and that sort of thing do, but houses. I suppose we just pick up those little portable ones, and I suppose they're okay. But I'm a big fan. If I go abroad, I always make sure I get a hotel room with air conditioning. But I always like it really cool. My wife always moans it's too cold. But I got to say, about 15, 17 years ago, something like that. We went to Kenya. We went to Kenya for a few weeks and got married out there. And that's the only time I've ever had our air conditioning on 24 hours a day. And when the trouble is, when it's like that, you come out your room, it hits you like a wall of heat. Sorry if I've just blown your drums. It's very hot and humid. Where are you, DBK, again? Remind me. Yeah, I think you have told me before. UK doesn't have aircon, but we have heating, yeah. See, my dream is to go to Dubai. That's my dream. And fun enough, in Dubai, they don't even have heaters. You don't have heating over there. It never gets that cold. I just love the idea of Dubai. Tax-free, wall-to-wall sunshine, carefree life. Surprisingly as well, it's the third safest place to live in the world. Dubai is. You wouldn't expect that, would you? You're from Alabama. Okay, so you're Alabama. Is that south then? Is it south central, is it? Something like that? I can't think now. I watched a Twitter stream based in the UK and he's drenched in sweat. I'm not too bad. I'm just literally sat here in a pair of shorts and a pair of flip-flops and I got a fan on me behind me, so I'm okay. But we have got a pool in the garden. It's not massive. It's one of those Intex. You know, you guys have them a lot. And it's like a steel frame and it's like a vinyl, blue vinyl. It's about 12 foot round and it's just under a metre deep. And we got one of those sand filters, automatic sand filters, and it just keeps it crystal clear. But when you are hot, in fact, not advisable, but I was in the pool yesterday when we were having thunder and lightning. Probably not the best place, but a lot of times in the summer, when it's hot in the summer in the UK, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the pool. There's nothing nicer than, you know, being pitch black outside and just floating around the pool. I love it. Okay, so we've had this channel down. We made a couple of attempts to go higher. We've pushed lower. Another couple of attempts to go higher, and we pushed lower again. So maybe we're having a spiky in a channel. Let's have a look. Possible. You have one of those in the... Yeah, they're good, actually. We've had ours up. This is the 3rd year in a row. Oh, they're great. Adults love it. Unless I'm just a kid, I suppose so. But, it's nothing floating around there with a beer. It's lovely. And we pay, believe it or not, £90 for ours. We got it 3 years ago. It just happened to be an Aldi. But they're great. They get more and more popular in the UK because obviously our summers are getting warmer and there's nothing like, when you're really hot, just hitting that pool. As soon as you hit that pool, your body temperature drops. And I love it. I was in there a couple of times yesterday and I dip in there this morning. UK has an average daily temperature of 13 degrees Celsius. Yeah, average. But, over winter and that. But at the moment, I think it's 28 degrees centigrade in the UK at the moment. It usually comes up my chart somewhere. But we had torrential rain and thunderstorms. We had thunderstorms last night, torrential rains the night before. That's the first rain we've had for about 3.5 weeks. It's literally been wall-to-wall sunshine, and for the remainder of the week, it's just sunshine all day long. So that liquidity is being picked up there. I thought it might do at some point. So let's get. So now, liquidity-wise, I don't know what's going on. There is some more at 40. So I'd say, judging by this, does look like we're having a bit of a channel into a range. Clearly ranged at the moment. It's 100. I don't know what that is in Celsius. I can't remember the calculation. Let me do it on my phone. So we had 42 recorded in the UK last year. 42. See. So Fahrenheit. So that's 107.5. That's what we had. So what is it at the moment? It's about 28 at the moment. London's about 30, I think. So it's 28. C to Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's about 82.5 degrees, so it's not mega hot. But for UK standards, it's a baker. But I don't mind. It's the days I don't mind. I'm just not a fan of the nights. It's around 40, maybe less. Yeah, so that deep south, you do get that warm weather, don't you? But you get a lot of tropical storms as well, don't you? See, we get thunder and lightning here. It's not like you see on the movies. It's just a little rumble in the distance. That's about as exciting as it gets in the UK. You see these horror films where the thunder and lightning's cracking. Never get that in the UK. We never get anything exciting in the UK. Nothing's going to bite us. Nothing's going to kill us. We're lucky. We ain't going to get shot. You'll never see a weapon over here in the UK. I did a little bit in the reserves. But you never see a weapon of any type in the UK. Not allowed to carry knives. Can't have weapons anymore. You can have things like shotguns with licenses, but you can't carry any type of automatic weapons. Pistols, nothing like that. Nothing in the UK. We get a lot of tornadoes. Yeah, they had a bit that frightened me. It must be terrifying with kids, but I suppose, trouble is, it must be a nightmare getting insurance for your house as well, because obviously if you're going to get tornadoes, it's not a case of a little bit of flooding, it's a case of your house gets ripped to pieces. I know we get flooded in the UK. Where I live in Shrewsbury, we've had flooding at time to time, and if you live on the riverbanks, it can be hard and pricey to get insurance, but that's just a bit of flooding. If you got and I know a lot of your guys in the UK, you got a lot of timber frame builds, haven't you? Whereas UK, it's all brick. Very few timber frame houses in the UK. They're building more now because they're realising they're a bit quicker and cheaper, but everything's brick. Our house is solid brick. You struggle to put a dent in these old bricks with a sledgehammer. But yeah, I mean, those timber frame houses, natural disaster keeps insurance premiums. Oh, does it really? I'm assuming it's a subsidised thing, is it? I think it would have to, really, because if the insurance companies had anything to say about it, it must be terrifying. I suppose you have the sort of the, what do they call them, the bunkers, or where you can get down under the ground a bit, at least. Keep yourselves safe. I mean, the house at the end of the day is just material, isn't it? Ultimately, it's about keeping yourself out of danger, but must be terrifying with kids. Okay, so let's get him out of the way. Right, well, for me, it's clearly ranging. I hate these days where they sort of go over in an arch and they're shooting this way, shooting that way. So, liquidity levels right down here. 81, 82, I can see strong. And 4 as well, around about here. So, for me, I'd expect some more down stuff. Brick houses with basements, yeah, you're a bit safer with brick, I think, aren't you? Although I don't know how they would stand in a tornado. You certainly have a better chance, wouldn't you, than if it was a timber frame one. I mean, timber frame, they just get picked up, sucked into pieces, don't they? What is going on here? All I'm thinking, I just need one trade all day, that's it. If you keep thinking like that, you'll hold back and wait for something pucker. Gotta be so careful here because it's down but sideways, isn't it? Okay. Let's have a look. There's a lot of buying around about there. Got a nice shiny new Weber barbecue coming today. The last one fell to bits with rust. So I might have to disappear if I get a knock on the door for 5 minutes. Okay, so there's massive buy orders there, which it's just picking up now. Push, push, push. Still there. Come down a bit more. Ooh, another tick. Push through. Ah, it's picked him up. Is it? Yeah, it has. So. Tell you what, my fan in my PC's whirring a lot. Until it's warmer, I might have to stick a... I don't know, you guys, how many fans have you got on them? I've got my... There's one fan in the case, and there's the fan that came with the Ryzen chip, which sits over the chip. I'm unsure whether I should stick another in, or a couple more. There are places from on the motherboard and within the frame where I can screw them. I'm not really a computer geek. There is something around there. Get your training and go barbecue. I don't think we're doing one tonight. I might do. I've got to get coals and all that sort of stuff and meat, so maybe tomorrow actually. As I say, we've got wall to wall all week. So, but I'm certainly going to have a dip in the pool and a whiskey. Three fans, one exhaust fan. Yeah, perhaps I should get some, actually. In fact, I did. When I built the PC a year and a half ago, I did buy a pack of 3, so I've got them somewhere. But yeah, I've just got one that comes with the case and the one that sits over the chip, the one that comes with it. So I could probably do with some more. I wasn't streaming this time last year, see, so at the moment, as well as my chart, I got Bookmap playing. I'm also recording this live through OBS, so that's up. Plus I've got YouTube up with the stream, so there's quite a lot going on my computer at the moment. So need a nice cold beer when it's hot out, certainly do. Cider I like at the moment. I'm going for a phase of liking cider. Do you get cider in the UK and the US? Made from Happy? I think you do, don't you? What do you? Okay, so touch there, touch there. It's fair to assume that's an overshoot, just to be on the safe side. Done for the day, Sam. You got a few points. Happy days. Mate, I'd be happy with 2 points a day, I would. The way things are at the moment, so good for you, mate. Yeah, I'm just... be careful going along here. You do? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm quite into the fruit ciders at the moment. Ciders are popular. Oh, are they really? Yeah, they got really popular here a couple of years ago. They still are. All different flavoured ones, but they are definitely a nice summer drink, ciders are. I know I went to Ibiza a few years ago and I remember drinking a Thatcher's on the beach, pure white sands, and it looked like a little sort of Jamaican hut on there. You know, when you just sit and you're nice and, you know, nice and warm, you have a nice cool drink and you just think life just ain't going to get any better than this at the moment. Angry Orchard Hard Cider. We'll have to have a look for that. They have a deal over here, I think. Is it buy 3, get 1 free, I think, at the moment. So I'm going to pop out. I might get some coals later, some briquettes or something for the barbecue, and I might pick up a few more. I've only got a couple left. But it's a lovely summer drink cider. Thatcher's Gold, beautiful. Yeah, try the Thatcher's Rosé as well. That's quite nice. But yeah, it's a lovely, refreshing cider. I don't get hangovers as much on cider, but I don't know why. Maybe because it's fruit. But lager and I tend to get a worse hangover. But cider, I don't so much. With a shot of Jack Fire in it. Jack Fire, what is that? A bourbon or something? Is it Jack Fire? Yeah. I've had a few bourbons. I tend to go for the scotches. I like the single malts, I do, but I have had that Maker's Mark. I've had a couple of bottles of that over a few years, and that Woodford Reserve, there's another bourbon. Trouble is, the more you drink those, other drinks then start to taste a bit weak when your palate adjusts to the scotches and the bourbons. Everything else takes a bit weak. Okay, so there's this overshoot, so I'd expect at the least to push out the top there, if not maybe a possible push in another direction. We'll see. I got you. Yeah. I don't mind Jack Daniels. I've tried the honey one. Ugh, foul. Hot. You know, with the hotness of that and the sweet. No, not a fan of that. Buffalo Trace. I don't think I've even heard of that, mate. But there's limited amounts of bourbons over here in the supermarkets, really. There's quite a few scotches, but limited bourbon. They always tend to get that Maker's Mark. Woodford Reserve's another one. Obviously Jack Daniels. I think they have the honey. I think it's the honey Jack Daniels. Buffalo Trace. I'll have to clean out your sinuses. They do that, don't they? If I get through too much, actually, in the last 7 months, I've had 12 bottles of single malt. I can get through them quite quick, especially since I started trading. It's not as much as you think, actually. It's not a huge amount in the grand scheme of things, but it sounds like a lot. But I can get through a bottle in a week, no problem. It's the equivalent. A bottle of scotch is the equivalent of about 15 pints of beer. So if you had that over a month, it's not actually that much. A few pints a week is not a lot. But when you've had a stressful day and you have like 2 or 3 double scotches, I don't know, I've made the world seem like a better place. Macallan, I've not. It's the one I haven't had, Macallan. I can tell exactly the last 12 bottles I've had. Exactly. Bottle I finished the other day was the Lafroig Select, which is one of the heavy peated. Before that, it was the Lafroig 10-year-old. Before that, it was the 12-year-old Glenlivet. Before that, I had an Aberlour. Before that, I had, no, tell a lie. In between there, I had a Balvenie. I've had the Founders Reserve Glenlivet. I've had 2 bottles of the Caribbean Reserve Glenlivet. I've had a bottle of... what's the other one? The one that tastes of the ocean a bit. Yeah, I've had a lot, actually. I do like my single malts. Just so much smoother than the blended ones. But Macallan is quite a popular whiskey as Macallan, and they do a very expensive one, actually. Do you know the most expensive whiskey ever sold went for $6.2 million? Unbelievable. $6.2 million for a bottle of whiskey. You wouldn't want to drop it, would you? You wouldn't want to drink it, would you? Who the hell spends $6.2 million on a bottle? Glenlivet. I like the Glenlivets. I've got to say, if you try the green label one, which is the 12-year-old. But I've had 2 bottles of the 12-year-old. I've had 2 bottles of the Caribbean Reserve. I've had 1 bottle of the Found Reserve. Not a massive fan of that. It's not rich enough. But yeah, the Lafroig is my favourite one. Strangely enough, the first time I ever bought that Lafroig, I had a small glass of it and couldn't drink it. I had to put it away. And then somebody told me, just keep going back and having a taste. And having a taste is my favourite now. Some more money in the sense. I only buy it in the sale, to be honest with you. I pay no more than about £25 for a bottle. They have some good deals, to be honest with you. But I don't spend a lot on anything else. I don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't go out hardly. I did all that lot in the past in my younger days. But okay, so I expect, we've had this overshoot here, so I expect at least a break out of this side before we figure out whether we're coming down or whether we might have a couple of legs down and then push back up. It's hard to say. And Jameson's, yeah, I had a couple of, it was my mum's funeral actually 6 months ago, and that's all they had, Jameson's, and I had a couple of those. They're okay. Not too bad. An Irish whiskey, aren't they, Jameson's, I think. Not together. What's going on here? See it as actually, if you look there, touch. Drop it every year. In fact, my wife's even having the odd single malt now, so that says a lot. Yeah, it is getting a bit choppy, isn't it? I don't know what's going on compared to 2 years ago. There was way more setups. Sold out a bar in April. Yes. Yeah, this is looking very choppy. I'm not a fan of this, where it spikes in that direction and it's all over the place. It's almost like an explosion from the middle, isn't it? All out in different directions. Okay, let's see what's going on. You've got to be careful of this because 1, it's congested. 2, there's been an overshoot, so I'd expect at least a push out the top. So we've had a break and 2 pushes up to a new high. See where this finishes, but I can't go short here at the moment just in case. I'd rather wait for a lower high because, let me think, try to go over 1, try to go over size failure triggered. If this pushes down, I'm going to wait for the lower high if indeed we do continue down. But we've touched here, close enough touched here. That for me is a bit of an overshoot, so you've got to be careful. Yes, it's tempting to do that, but dangerous in my opinion. That might be a little bit better, but I'd still prefer a lower high. You just can't take that because it's congested, especially after that overshoot. It could trigger you, which it has done there, and shove off. 5 trade marks. Do you know, strangely enough, though, although we're on about how many trades he marks, he only takes a couple of trades a day. So a lot of the trades he marks, he doesn't take, because if it was that easy to find 10 trades a day, he'd take them. But I know I've heard him say he only takes a couple of trades a day. It's very easy to mark a ruck of trades at the end of the day, isn't it? But okay, so we've had this break, couple of pushes up to a new high, nice bearish bar. Trouble is, it's congested to hell, and it's triggered, and that'd be scaring the hell out of me. That would. It's not a tiny bar. What is it? It's 3.5 point bar. Tick above, tick below. It's 4 points. Too risky, that is. It's got to be the lower high, the failure. In fact, if the lower high finishes there, I'm not even going to take that. I'll wait for the failure. But if you took that, your arse is going to be twitching like a good one now. 4 points on the 4 points on the line. Too bad he's on a yeah, he is. He's fishing again, isn't he? Yeah, I don't blame the guy. Actually, he's had a tough time with cancer lately. You got to enjoy your life. Okay, so there may be a lower high there. Trouble is, for me, EME still facing up. It's still congested. I just can't take that. Okay, there is a lower high there. Still too risky. Yeah, that overshoot. See, you just got to be aware of that. I've been caught out in them too many times. That's almost definitely going to stop it there. There we go. So if you took that, and I bet a lot of people took that, because if you look, touch, it's touching perfectly. It doesn't get any more bearish. There's 2 issues there. 1, it's a bit congested, and 2, we've had that overshoot. So I'm happy I'm avoiding trades like that. When I saw that, I can't go short unless we get a lower high below the EMA or a failure for that obvious reasons. And Nemesis Thur with Apex. With Apex, is it you pay every month until you pass, or just one fee? If you take an evaluation, you've got to pay every month. But I would say, I'd say most people would pass an evaluation within a month. But yeah, so just be aware of that. Now, at the moment, it's 50% off resets. So if you're in the evaluation now and you took it when it was 80% off, your next evaluation fee for the following month will be 80% off as well. So don't stress too much. So yeah, just be aware of that. Okay, so that's looking like a bull flag to me, so it may rocket up. That's the or down. So that's the trouble, really. We've had that overshoot. A lot of times we'll just get a mirror image of the other side. But what I will say is you've still got to be a bit careful of that. Okay, we're all right now, I think. I think it's fair to say it's probably coming down. Did you get paid yet? My payment is approved. No, not yet, mate. It's 15th usually, isn't it? I might have another one as well the end of the month. So I may get 2 this month out of the one account. So let me have a look. Yeah, it's usually the 15th. Let me have a look. That's payouts. Yeah. Yeah, there's mine there, approved. So it'll be the 15th, which is the day after tomorrow. So you'll get it. It's the 3rd one I've had from Apex, hopefully, because this one particular account's a little bit higher than the rest. I may get another one at the end of the month, I'll say. If I can get this account over, say, 3,500, then I'll take another one. Now 44.1 break level. Sustain may give approximately 10-point move. Got about up or down? 44.11. Now 44.11 is breakout level. Okay, so 44.11, which is the breakout level. It's hard to know what's happening here. As we know, overshoots can result in a reversal. I've been paying earlier. Yeah, I think my first I got on the 15th. My second depends, actually. It depends whether it falls close to a week. It's on a Thursday, so it's not a problem. But if it's close to, maybe it's like a Monday or a Tuesday, in a lot of cases you'll get on a Friday or a Saturday. Okay, yeah. So leg. So I'd say now this is now quite probably a reversal. But don't quote me on it. Let's have a look what's going on here. It is very messy today, isn't it? Fortunately, all you really need to do is get one good trade. Okay, so leg. I did say it looks like a bull flag, and it did. I didn't expect that, though. Okay, liquidity at 10. So there's some liquidity there. So I'd expect that level to get hit. Be nice to get a bit of a break here. Okay. Now, there is some strong at 15, so whether it'll get up that high or not, I don't know. But funnily enough, this is an area of interest. We've been up there a few times before, so it's a possibility that we may get up there. Some ruck of orders up there. There's also some at 44.05. So I certainly expect that measured leg. Now, was it Sally and mentioned that now 44 is breakout level? If sustained, then may give approximately 10 points. 10 points. When you say sustained, you mean closed under it, may give 10 points down or 10 points up. There's certainly, well, let's have a look. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. To these highs, are you on about up or down? Now 44.11 is breakout level. Sustain, then make it approximately 10-point move. Breakout level. Yeah, sometimes you get paid early. My first one, it was on time. Second one, it was early. No, other way around, actually. First one was early, a couple of days early. I got on the Friday. I think the 15th fell on a Sunday, so I got on a Friday. Okay, so we got this little short-term trend channel, and we got a break here. Now, it's close as a measured move there, so if I'd argue, it probably is. It's close enough. You could put that there, really, I suppose. So you could say that's played out. So, see, when Sally is saying breakout level if sustained, does that mean if it holds the price down, we're going to get a move down? Maybe. But there is some very strong liquidity up there. 362 orders sat there. Which funnily enough, it's right at the top of this range. Okay, so there's some liquidity around about here. So it's hard to know what's going on here. See, I'm not 100% sure what Sandy was on about breakout level. Is it on about if prices are... Because obviously that line seems to be holding prices a bit. I'm not sure whether it meant it was coming down or up. I'd say down would be the obvious. It's hard to say. Stop loss at 44.12. So if you had a stop loss there, let's see what happens. See if it makes a... if it can push through, where's our target? 43.99. So target being down here. Oh, balls. Where did that come from? Possible target down about there. So if we can push through the EMA and then give us a lower high or a failure, maybe find a nice channel like that and get below there, then maybe I'll think about going short. So we've had leg, breaking a leg. Now I'm aware there's liquidity there and some a little bit higher up. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hit it. I think it's more important of the setup, but let's have a look. Let's keep an eye on this. Okay, so we've had a break and we've made 2 attempts to go higher. So if we can push down in a channel like this and get below that EMA, we're still going to find a setup. Okay, so you can count that as trying to go high once. So we can push with the EMA and then get a lower high. It's got to be through the EMA. Trouble is there's liquidity at 8 and there's liquidity at 7 as well. Where's the lowest of it? 6 or 7, which is not that low, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. Okay, funnily enough, it's working in my channel. So, will that be a nice gift? You draw a channel and it works in it. Okay, so it's come down and it's stayed above that EMA. So, let's have a look. That liquidity is gone. There is some here. That could be 2 legs down, then a push up to this area, see, so it's hard to say. So, lowest liquidity I can see is 0.5, which is down here. I'm just going to get an order ready just in case that
Order
finishes
submitted.
strongly below that EMA. I'm still a bit nervous because we haven't made a new higher and there's that liquidity. It's got to finish strong below that EMA to get me interested. And I don't think it's going to. No, that's no good for me, that. Maybe we get a failure.
Order cancelled.
Now, has that triggered? No, it hasn't. Trouble is, it's still above the EMA. That's dangerous, that is. So if you took that one, I'd say there's a good chance you're going to get stopped out. That's why I didn't take it. It is a lower high. It's just in a dangerous place, and at the moment, we're doing this. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think we're continuing up personally. Let me see if there's a channel working it. See what happens there. Okay, if you took that one, you're going to get shafted now. So I got once, so I got twice. Yeah, I just don't like it. EMA's still putting up. It's holding prices. I'll be shocked if that doesn't take out a stop there. If it doesn't, you're bloody lucky. So I got once, so I got twice. No, it's just risky, all that is. Risky. Yeah, if you took that there, the lower high, you've just been handed your ass on a plate. It just had danger written, all that. It's trouble is, it goes in this little range, and you just think after these we're coming down, and it just sucks in loads of shorts, and then look at that, spits you out. There'll be lots of people taking that. Like, you know, think nice trend here. We've had a break. Try to go higher once. Try to go twice. Failure. Nice big bearish bar. Trigger. Stopped. I used to get caught in them all the time. Don't do it anymore. It's just not looking like it's ready to come down to me. There is strong liquidity up ahead at 15 and at 20. So for me, I still think we're going up. Let's get rid of these areas. Let's leave them a minute. Okay, so liquidity 215 and 220. There is some at 06, which is there. So now, Sania mentioned this area here, didn't he? Stop here. So if you took that, I mean, we've gone up once, twice, three times. I don't know. I think it's going north personally. Oh, so there is a triple test. 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher. Maybe we are coming down, but absolutely, Tyler. It just gives me a bigger picture. Up until this, I can only tell what the market's doing now and what we've had in the past. But with Bookmap, it tells me what might happen in the future, because I know there's a lot of liquidity and a lot of here. So that's telling me lots of traders either are selling up here or have profits up here. And the larger amount of them, the more people that are up there, the more chance it has of pushing up. So it keeps me out of taking bad trade, or helps to keep me out of taking bad trade, and gives me the confidence in other trades. So it's definitely and in all honesty, from everything I've learnt and read, I mean, you could take that as a second entry, but I think it's just a bit risky. It is a little bit sideways there. From everything I've read, institutional guys use this type of thing, or order flow, or something of that nature, to have a bigger overall picture, and we don't see now. The thing is with Mac, he's been trading these charts, since the dinosaurs were, on the earth. So he knows them inside and out, back to front. He doesn't necessarily need it. And not only that, he scalps a point, see. So, but for, some of us maybe less experienced or whatever, I think it's a godsend. Mac just might not use them because if what he does is work, there's no point. I still make mistakes. I still, get trapped in trades. So that's initially where I found it of use. It kept me out of a trade the first day I used it. So Mac knows these charts inside and out. He doesn't need anything else. Mac's got everything he needs. But let's see what's going on here. So there's liquidity. I mean, for me, it's pushing up. There's no two ways about it for me personally. Or I'm certainly expecting it to, more than down. Strong liquidity here, strong here. There is some at 406, 407. More buy orders, but I'm guessing they're going, if we have a pull and a break and come down here, I'm going to buy. So you put a buy order down here, and a lot of traders trade that way. Leg down, break, leg down. Let's buy here to push up higher. Selling up here, that might be, if you went long here, put your profit up here. And that'll show as a sell order, and that will be the natural place to sell, wouldn't it? 215, just before the top of this range, where the supports are, be a perfect place to sell, just below. So you put your sell order there. So that's what a lot of those are. And market moves to liquidity, as we know. You're not going to be selling here, are you? You're only going to be buying. That's where your profit's going to be. So that's what's given me the confidence to go there. So if you did get involved in that trade and your stop was there, you're out, unfortunately. Oh, look, something's just sold there. Some aggressive sellers just pushed that down there, really. Interesting. But there is a little range here, see, so that might be a failed breakout the range, who knows? There is some at 11, so maybe some buyers are now going to buy this to push higher. A lot of times it'll break out of one of them, come back in a little bit, and then push higher. We got a new low there. Bullish bar might be a place to go long there. Trouble is, it's a bit too far for the EMA for me. See how that finishes. I would certainly say that's going to push up to this area, though. I'm just not a fan of doing that because it's in the middle of nowhere, no man's land, really. But I would say that'll make 2 points, but I'm not taking it. Enough anyway. I prefer to go over to this area, I would. What I will say is that's pushed up from this side of the channel to that side of the channel and work back. That's pushed up from this side of the channel to that side of the channel and work back. That's pushed up just to here. So that makes me nervous. Maybe. I mean, really, if you look at the overall picture, we're clearly going sideways in this range. Now, this is an area where it's bounced off multiple times, with the, pushed off there and came back down, with the exception of that there. But it's a couple of times there. 1, 2, 3, 4, So maybe we're coming to the top of this channel. Ultimately, the bigger overall is the range. Lots of selling at 13, 14, 15 and 16, all around this area. Let's just save that as default. Yes. Okay. Let's thicken it a bit. 4 defaults. Apply. Template. Save. Set as defaults. Yes. Okay. So, just looking on the, if you look on the right of bookmap, if you are looking at it, you've got this area here, this compressed area, which is going from around about there to there, rather than having these different levels up here. It's sort of working in that area there. So I would expect it to get up here. But for me, it's really got to come back to this side, really, especially with it only pushing up that high. It didn't quite go any higher. It can be just a bit risky, that. Say, I mean, we're clearly going sideways at the moment. That could just be a failed breakout. And judging by how it went up and pushed back, came back down quickly, I'd say it was nothing more than a failed breakout. But I'd expect to come to the side and then find something suitable here, then to push up to this area. Yeah, the sell orders finish at around about the 211. The buyers are in 2829, so around about this area. So that's where it would make sense that area you'll be thinking about buying, and then to push up. Yeah. If we can get something down here, I'll be quite happy just taking maybe 2 or 3 points. Now come down. Come down, come down, come down. There we go. Come down. Beautiful. Now give us our other leg down. 13, 14, 15, 16. Beautiful. One leg, try it once, another leg down here, come down here. That would be perfect. And if we do get a decent setup down here, that should push up quite strongly, that should. Good setups really move. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, no, that's no good for me, that. It's still just floating in the air a bit, that is. It's got to come down here for me to have any interest in that. Volts, I would like to see 44.15 liquidity grabbed and then go down. 44.15, yeah. It's around about there, that is. Let's make sure it's accurate. Yeah, that's what I mean. If we can get a couple of legs back here, there's plenty of distance to make a profit, but the trouble is, it's just, come on down, you bastard. It's just a little bit choppy and a bit risky there. It's got to come down here, otherwise it's just a no-go. Sunny at 13.28, we have first high. I made too low and broke. Lee. First touch points, vice versa. That's more like it. So I'd like to see a bearish part. Now come back down, break through here, sit right on here, right on top of the main. Now that might be a beautiful trade there. Come on, come down a bit more. It's got to come down here. I ain't interested in it. Now 13 is the liquidity. I'd like to get in down here and get out for 13. No good. No good. Come on, aggressive sellers. Leg, break, leg. Beautiful. Okay.
Order submitted.
Now, finish. Give me a nice big bullish bar. Leg, leg. Touch, touch. Come on. Just stay as you are. That'll do. Perfect. Stay, stay. Okay, now finish. Leg, leg. Okay, that'll do me. Now come down, break below here. Down. It's got to get below that other one, otherwise I'm not interested. There is some liquidity at 408 as well. It'd be nice if it could touch that. Come on, a little bit more. Leg, leg, perfect measured leg. It's got a tip below there though for me, really. Come on. Tick. One more tick. Come on, you bastard. Nah, it's going to give us a doji in it. That's okay. And one more bar, no breakdown.
Order
Not
cancelled.
liking that. So I could probably adjust this a fraction. So there. Okay, we know the measured move is one tick below that bar there. Okay, try go once, try go twice, failure. Still lots of liquidity at 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not liking it. Okay, on the upside, that's kept within that. If we can get something nice and bullish, it's going to have to be a higher low for me. I just can't get involved otherwise. Because there is a failure there. We got a new high. Try go once, try go twice. Bearish bar, failure. If it does push up and gives us a higher low, then I think we're golden. I don't see why you'd take a short there, to be fair, because we're clearly ranging at the moment, but with an upward bias. But I could be wrong, but... Leg. Okay, it's a visual second entry long, isn't it? Oh, so tempting.
Order submitted.
Okay, it's going to have to finish very strong. And it's not going to. No good. No good.
Order cancelled.
That's still triggered. Actually, let me just, I can adjust this a fraction. I've just noticed something that fits. And if I take that up a little bit, it fits there perfectly, and it fits there perfectly. So that's nice there. Touch, touch, touch. So far, we're all good. We're all good in this channel. I'd say that's confirmed. But that failure has triggered, so it's going to have to push above that failure, really, and give us a higher low for me to think about going long. But it's certainly working in that channel. There's no argument there. It's working. We push up sideways with a fail breakout, 2 legs down. I'd expect it to start pushing up from here. Liquidity is 13 to 15. So this area here, let's say 13 to 15. So this is the area. Let's get that out of the way. This is the area I'd expect to push up to, but it's going to have to give us... Okay, I kind of like that. You've got to be careful, though. It's not... It sort of is a higher low. Trouble is, you could still get stuff there. Yes, if you took that one, you're going to get stopped out there. But if that pushes up nice and bullish now, that'll give us our higher low. But there is some liquidity there, see? If that pushes up really nice and strong and bullish, then I'll take that.
Order submitted.
I'm not liking something, though. It's just not strong enough for me. Nope. No good.
Order cancelled.
Absolute naff. Yeah, so if you took that one, which you may have done, if you took that one, you got triggered. If you took that one, you got triggered. They stopped both out. I'm just not liking how things are looking. So I've not got involved. So, okay, so just wondering if this is slightly different. Let me just put that there. I don't know. Risky. There's certainly a lot of liquidity between there and there, this area here. Trouble is, when you adjust these, you could get it wrong. I'm not a massive believer in that. It just doesn't look fantastic. It's touching here. It's close enough there. It's touching there. Touch, touch, touch. It's just, I don't know. You know, when you adjust the chart and something just doesn't feel right. And I think it's fair to say there is a bit of a channel work in there. And I don't think you can ignore that. So you can get yourself in trouble going long here. Actually, there's more like 1, 2, 3 legs down there. I still think it's going up. The trouble is, you've got to be careful. I'm out. Hope you get a trade. Thanks, Tyler. No problem. You have a good day, mate. Get your money, get out. That's the best idea. Okay, so if you did take that, trouble is, try go once, try go twice. It's just, it's looking like it's coming down, isn't it? And I have adjusted that, and I'm not a massive. I mean, you could say it's a spiking channel. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, in all fairness. 13 to 15. I expect it to hit that level. Oh. Yeah. Trouble is, I mean, if you look, it's clearly working down there. So you've got to be so careful. And that's why you've got to be careful. And it's clearly just pushed out anyway, but you just got to be careful. That's clearly a little channel working there. And I've obviously adjusted that one, and it does fit there nice, but it's, I don't know, the channel doesn't look fantastic to me, so I think that's why it's a bit risky, personally. And unless I know what I'm doing and I'm confident I'm making the right decision, I'll just stay out of it. Cider like that 12-year-old schoolboy every time I hear the word. Australian cider company. Nice bounce off the bottom of the channel. Yeah, see, I wasn't even convinced that was the right channel because I adjusted it a bit. I mean, I initially had it here. And it fitted nice, to be fair. In fact, in all fairness, I'd say it's a safer bet to say that that's a break. That works for me. So touch, 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 touch there, touch there. It's working nice there. So yeah, that for me is a break. So where are we coming to? Let's have a look. Now, 215s, that first bit of quality, which we haven't hit yet. There's probably going to be some shorts there. Remember, we're coming to the top of this range here as well, so that's a possibility why it might stall. Excuse me, we've got this channel, we had a break new high. When we make a new high, it'll be close to the top of this channel, this range. So, okay, 215. There is some at 217 and 220, so 220, 27. 217 and 220, so there's a lot around here. Unfortunately, there's just, we had that break. You just don't know. We might get a leg, a little push up, and another leg, and then it starts walking. And I've done that so many times. I've got to let it move now and then take a higher low, which we didn't get, unfortunately. I'll tell you what, I watched that Australian thing. You said the one where he's an Australian, the bloke grabs his dog. He's got a boxer dog, and the kangaroo grabs his dog, and he squares up to him and smacks him in the face, doesn't he? And the kangaroo looks startled, doesn't he? Runs off. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, never grab a man's dog. You're asking to get smacked. 215, top of this range. Unfortunately, I was hoping we may get a little bit of a pullback to the MA there, but we didn't really. Unfortunately, we sort of know where it's going, but unless you get a setup, we need a setup and a place to put our stop, really. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that for now. In fact, let's just shove out of the way for now. This is the area. It's just a fraction below here is 15. 1450, 2 more ticks, 1 more tick. Okay, that's the last of the liquidity, which is eaten some of it. In fact, it's gone now. Okay, so that's all the liquidity I can see now. There is a little bit at 17 and a little bit and a bit more at 20, but I would say, remembering this is a range, touch, 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 touch. But you got to be careful. I hate picking tops. I'm not a fan of them. I'm not very good at them. Clearly a range day. Let's see what happens here. It's just frustrating. See, there's just nowhere to get in there, really. And, you know, so many times, I mean, you know, the chance of it going up, I could almost say, and on heart, that I'd say it's 90% going to go up. And you would think, well, just jump in. And I've done it so many times, I've thinking, oh, that one's put, I'll jump in. And it ticks above you and comes down and makes one leg, two leg. And then it stops you out and then goes exactly the same. That's why you need a proper setup. As much as, you know, we're confident we know where it's going, we've had a channel, we've had a break, there's loads of liquidity up here, we know it. Unless you've got the money to, you know, maybe like Harjit or something others where they have like a 3-point stop down here and they jump in here, you just can't do it. And that's a shame, really, but it's the way it is. That's the way our strategy is. Most of the time you get set up. I dare say we'll get a setup by the end of the day. There's nothing I can see. Now, I mean, there was a failure there. You just can't take that really. It went for a few ticks and stopped you out. There's nothing I can see, really. If you took that second entry, it ticked you and stopped you out. There's lots of traps around here, but it is really choppy. I can't see anything, and we do have spells like this where we don't see a lot. And when you do get a setup, it doesn't move far. And then all of a sudden, markets will really open up and you'll get a couple of 2 or 3 setups. But it's just parcel. Which is why I've gone back up to 2 contracts and just been a bit careful because, you know, if I'm getting, maybe 4 contracts a week, it's giving me $400 a week. It's not really going to build very quick. So my figure is I just trade 2 contracts and just be extra careful. And that's all I'm doing. I haven't taken a NAF setup. And I'd rather not take a setup at all. Okay, looks like a little break. High. Highest liquidity I can see is 220 and a fraction above. Now, let's see where this gets to. Definitely a tough day again to trade. Excuse me a second, I just got this barbecue. 2 minutes. Okay. Oh, big bearish bar. Big bearish bar. Okay. It's picked up. Oh, that's very tempting. That's very tempting. 218's liquidity. Oh, it's tempting. Lower high. Let's get this out of the way. Big bearish bar. There's still liquidity at 2021. Oh, it's hard to know what to do here. Let's try to find 2 points back to the range, back to the EMA.
Order submitted.
See what happens here. I'm not a fan of these, I've got to say. I'm staying out of
Order
it.
cancelled.
There is still some liquidity back here again. I think we're going to have another crack at this line, to be honest with you. And if you took that now, your arse would be twitching like a good one. Second entry long. There's still a lot of liquidity back here. I'd expect to retest that line again. And the way that's finishing, it's going to eat through that. I don't know, some people might take that. The trouble is, for me, it's still in the middle of no man's land. Okay, so it's took that stop out if you took that. Is it going to take that one out? It may not. You may survive if you're in that trade. But I made a good decision not to take that. I don't have much luck with them, so I stay away from them. Mm. 1920, it's still there. It's hard to say whether it'll have the legs. Okay, so we've had a break out of this. That's obvious. We've had a new high. We've had a break and a new high. So that channel's played out and that channel's played out. Trouble is, I'm very particular in my trade choice now. I would rather see that come back, push below the EMA, and then take a failure, and then take that. I did get one ready, but they're just, I struggle with those, to be fair, and they're just too risky. Be interesting to see whether that one survives. I think it may. There is liquidity here, so if it hits here, I don't know. It's hard to say. So let's see if this channel can be adjusted. I don't think it can. Actually, that doesn't look that bad, actually. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. Probably adjust that a fraction. Pull that down just a smidgen. If you learn this, then you will get confirmed small trades. And you will know. Difficult to learn. Yeah. You've got that channel. Yeah, I kind of think that's okay. Now, the trouble is, you class that as an overshoot. That's the problem. So if you bring that down there, no, I don't think you could take that as an overshoot. So, okay, so if you did take that, you may survive back here a bit. There's still that strong liquidity, but there is some around about 16, so maybe we get a push down. If anybody took that, you may be lucky, but I don't know. We've had 3 attempts now to go lower. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I'd say that's going to get taken. If you are in that, I hope you don't. It's quite a chunky bar, that, isn't it? Let's have a look. So it's 2. It's not as big. 2.5 points. Tick below. Tick above. 3 points. I'll be surprised if that's not pushed up to take that out. Liquidity is appearing at 21, which is higher now, which is there, which will take out the stop. It's not the best looking channel, but I think it fits okay. Touches here, touches here. It's close enough there. Close enough there, close enough there. Little, you could call that an overshoot. I mean, if you bring this back here and touch there, in fact, let's take it out. Touch. No, it's not big enough for an overshoot. It's literally a couple of ticks, I think. Okay, you may get away with this. Hopefully, 1 leg, 2 legs. It'll come down here. I wouldn't hang around though, and I'd get out pretty quick if you can get profit. Let's have a look. Some liquidity at 17. Just under 17.5, which is about here. So that's telling me we may get a little bit of sideways. So look. Okay, so your stops, or you're intact just at the second, but you're about to get stopped out. Now you are. Yeah, you can see a few people are in that short there by the way it pushed out there. So if you did take that, bad luck. I'd be so careful about taking that. It's in the middle of no man's land, really. There's nothing else at the same level. I mean, if you take that one, touch that, and we had something here, then I'd get it. But that's the trouble there. They're asking for to be stopped out, that is, and it literally it went about half a point. You wouldn't have got a scalp or anything out of that. If you'd have put it one tick below there, yeah, you wouldn't even have got 3/4 of a point out of that. We're at the top. There'd have been half a point maximum there, so that would have been. And judging by the way we pushed up a couple of points pretty quickly, there was a few stops there. So now we're at this level here. So we're actually made a new high for the day. So let's see what's going on now. So the liquidity above is still around here, but it is drying up a touch. So 25 to 23. So 25 to 23. There is some around that area. Now, if that wasn't an overshoot, I think it's fair to declare that one probably is. So let's get rid of some of this. It's clogging up a bit. $4,411, yeah, down here. So you still think we're going long, do you? The trouble is we've broken out of this again, so it's hard to know what's going on. I prefer one leg, two legs. For me, I'd like to come back to this side and confirm this channel. The trouble is because we've had an overshoot. I don't quite understand, Sania. This was told 411 is breakout level of sustain may give 10 points in which direction? Are you on about long or short? 10-point move. So 44.11, that's down here. So you're on about 10 points up then, aren't you? So 44.11 was here. 44.11 was here. So 10 points up. Okay, so that's there. Right, so that's what I mean. I'm not sure you're on about. In all honesty, though, there was nothing here setup-wise for max strategy. So let's have a look. So liquidity levels at the moment 217. That's about our lowest. Okay, so it's fair to assume that now is an overshoot. So we got leg, which is the top of this range. There is sell orders here. This is all based on chart movement. I do have a method which gives target in digits. See how it will come. Compulsory to come, yeah. Trouble is, because we've had that overshoot, it's a bit precarious assuming we're carrying on long. I mean, it may open up, I don't know. I can't see any other way to run that channel. Touch, close enough. Touch, close enough. I think you've got to assume that's an overshoot, but we may just get something small this side. The trouble is these liquidity levels are in such a small area. They're down as low as 17. 16 to 17 around about here, and they're up as much as 23, so it's a very small area. up as much as 23, so it's a small area. So maybe we get 2 legs. Careful, you've got to get trapped here. Second entry long. Because of this overshoot, I think you've got to assume coming back down here. I think that's risky personally. If that triggers, I'd say it's going to come down and stop you out personally. It's congested anyway. We've had this overshoot. Try go once. It breaks above this, it might trap some longs in, and I think it's coming down. But that's my opinion. Okay, that's triggered. Now I think that's going to come down now and stop out that green candle. So that's a failed second entry long. I can't go short because I don't count trend trade, but I'd say if you did take that one, it is a second entry long, but it finished not in a great place. You can call it bullish, but just the context of it's naff. Can I post my email in the chat? Yes, you can, mate. Absolutely. No problemo. If you get a load of ladies sending you naked pictures, don't blame me. Just pass them on to me. Interesting. Oh, you may be lucky. Okay, a little bit of sideways. It's still in the middle of nowhere. It's clearly congested. EMA's as flat as a pancake. Just can't take anything there, really. Chip, chop, choppy. Yeah, if you took that one, I'd say you're going to get stopped out. Excuse me a minute, I'm just going to take a quick minute bathroom break. Back in a second. Okie dokie. Okay, 420. There's strong liquidity there still. In all fairness, that overshoot is concerning me. Now, whether it's an overshoot, it's hard to say, but touch. I think you've got to assume it is. Depends how strong this market is. Yes, you can. Yeah, you did hear me, Chris, didn't you? Yeah, absolutely, mate. Post what you want, mate. Yeah, I don't mind. I did. You saw it. I never saw it pop up. I thought you were waiting for me to answer. Okay, measured leg to the nearest tick. Now, let's have a look. Liquidity there is now. There's a bit of selling at 18.5, which is around about here. So let's see what goes on. Looks like the London close silver bullet, lads. Leg. Okay, so that measured move. So let's see now if we can bounce off here and push back up again. But we have to assume that. I always sort of err on the side of caution. It's also always a safer bet because I got trapped in a trade like that the other day. Missed an overshoot. So that's the beauty about missing an overshoot and losing a trade. I learnt from it. So that's why I don't mind losing trades that I believe to be a good one, because they remind me that keep an eye out for an overshoot because they can send it in the other direction. And as soon as I'm jumping in along here, it comes down. Now, 17 to 20 liquidity. So it's here. Now, these are sell orders, so we may be looking at a downtrend now. I'd certainly expect a break, which we've had. Now, let's see whether we're in a strong market or not. But remember, in the overall picture is a range day. Now, we've obviously got these bigger channels within there, but ultimately it's a range day now. I don't think I can adjust this. See, it's touching a bunch of times here, isn't it? Let's have a look. I think I'll keep it here for now. It's touching multiple times, see, and we'll just call this a fail breakout. So, we had an overshoot there. Channel, overshoot, came back down. Channel, overshoot. I'd expect it to come back down. Or it certainly could. These sell orders here are coming down, so that's telling me prices are starting to move downwards. Let's have a look. $20 is the highest, so let's get rid of that now. That's the highest area now. And there's somewhere around 18. Yeah, this channel here, see, overshoot, pushed off in the other direction. This channel here, overshoot, pushed off in the other direction. This channel here, overshoot, pushed off in the other direction. So I'm expecting it to come down, but I'm also aware that it may not. But it depends how much of an overshoot. See, it's an overshoot, same as that one. But these areas of liquidity do play a part. Unfortunately, no real setups. I dare say there'll have been some people trading the little breakout there. I'd say it's fair to say that's still in because it's fitting nice and tight along that back end, so I'd say we're still golden there. Unfortunately, no setup. Liquidity at 210. So there was an overshoot. We had that big push down, didn't we? Overshoot and a push up. Low break leg and up. Yeah, there are clearly some people thinking we're coming back up here. Let me have a look at this. What's going on? Okay, push up, down, Just knowing how far this is going to come down to get in a trade, we had quite a decent push down there. We may get the same. Where that came down and then pushed up and then started working down. So we may get that. We may get a break and then start working down. That measured move played out. So at the moment, looking about a short. Still lots of liquidity at 14 to 18. to 18, so around about that area. And the trouble is, it's hard to know whether after this now overshoots can result in a reversal, but it might just pop out this other side and it may continue to push up high. It's hard to say. I am aware there's still liquidity area, so it could go up. And there's a strong, whacking, great big red lump up here. So it's so hard to say. Somewhere around about 210, so this looks like it might be a break. Trouble is, there's two schools of thought here. We could be pushing up, and this could just be a breakout. Let's see how this finishes. Let's get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Second entry short, see how this finishes. Just got to be so careful because it might trigger you and then push up. Not a fan of that at the moment. See if we can get a lower high. There's quite a bit of a stem I don't like. I mean, we've had this channel and we've had a break from it. It is a second entry short, but I'm not a fan of that stem. See, there is a lot of liquidity, so there is still a possibility we could push up and make a new high. It's just so hard. So that one pushed down. We had a break, a couple of legs up, and it came down eventually. So we're around about the same area before it. Yeah, it's getting a bit congested, I think. Lots of buying at 13. So, interesting. If this triggers, it might push up. I'm going to get rid of my order at the moment. I'm not interested in
Order
this
cancelled.
just at the moment. There was a load of buy orders just then. Whether they got sucked up or disappeared, I don't know. There's lots of liquidity around this area, so I think it's dangerous. I think that's going to get triggered and push up. There's lots of liquidity around there. Yeah, look what's happening. So dangerous. 15, 16, very strong. So I expect to get to here. Maybe retest this. It might go south, but I hope it does if you're in that trade. But see if we can get a lower high.
Order submitted.
See if that comes back and gets us. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, what's making me nervous is all this liquidity. No, I'm staying out of that, I think.
Order cancelled.
There's a lot of liquidity there. It may bounce. It may not come this low. And it may push up. That's what's worrying me. Very strong around that 214 mark, which, funnily enough, is around about the top. I think this is a bit dangerous, personally. Just doesn't fill me with confidence for some reason. Okay, maybe the lower high might be a better
Order
option.
submitted.
See how this finishes. I'm not filled with confidence, put it that way. No, I'm staying out of this.
Order
I don't like
canceled.
the feeling. And when I don't like that feeling, I think I'm best to stay out of it. I think this is pushing up to make a new high. It's just the amount of liquidity that's up here. It's just concerning me. I dare say there'll be a lot of trades about to get stopped out here. It is a second entry short. You may have taken that one. You may have seen it move a little bit and think, let's go for it, but you're all going to get stopped out. Well, whoever took that, there's just too much liquidity to ignore there. Let's have a look. Where is it? It's going to have a bit of a pop, and that's one leg, two legs. Then it might come down a bit. Let's have a look. One leg, two legs. Oh. You may get away with it. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this measured move. It's one tick below that range anyway, so one leg, two leg. We did very similar here. Do you remember? Where was it? Here. We had broke out this. We went up once, went up twice, dragged a load of shorts in again, and then shot up. So this might do the same. I think it's going to suck a few shorts in there, maybe taking, and it might do that same. See how this finishes. I think it's going to do what it did there, and I'll tell you why I think that, because of the liquidity at 218. Okay, so hopefully that won't interest shorts anyway, but if that was a bit more bearish, one leg, two leg, trouble is, as soon as that pushes above there, it's going to take out any stops there. I just hope it does come down, because there's going to be a lot of traders in there. And the measured move is one tick below there. See if this triggers. It's almost teasing you to take it. That liquidity is at 18. That's what's concerning me. Yeah, there is. Okay, yeah. So if you had your stop, see, it is a second entry short, and it's not the worst buy in the world. That stem makes me nervous. So what you might have done, and I do it myself. Let's see that one go south and that one go south, and think, okay, yeah, now I'll jump in. And it almost teases you, doesn't it? And then what happens? It goes up and stops you out. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to come down. We may have another leg, but it may trap some shorts again. But at least I'm pleased I'm starting to know these areas, and the reason I'm starting to understand these areas because I spent lots of time getting trapped in them. And that's how you learn. You get trapped in them again and again and again. You start to notice these patterns. Exactly the same thing happened here. We had this channel. I like trading the breaks in the channel. We had a push up. You may have took the short here. You'd have got away with 2 points. A push up again. Second entry short. Yeah, let's jump in. As soon as you jump in there, look, straight away. And there lies the problem. But the more you get trapped in them, getting trapped in them is not the end of the world, because it does teach you. And you have to learn. Okay, so the measured move is right there now. So that's made a measured move. So now let's see what happens. So that liquidity now is getting sucked up. So let's get out that. But yeah, another good decision to stay out. And that is with the help of a little bit more experience and Bookmap. Just tells me there are areas up here, and other traders have got profit areas up here, and they're looking to short up here, which tells me it's likely to come up here. So now are we making a new high after that channel? It's hard to say. An overshoot can result in a reversal, in which case it's done there. So we had that second entry short, didn't we? Which is almost the same pattern there. And then we pushed up one more time and then came down. And then that channel started from there. So what I'm saying is we could end up having something like that. Or we could push up. See that? It's quite a bullish candle there. See all those are stem. That may trigger some and then come down some more. Trouble is, these markets are so full of traps. Okay, 18 liquidity. Liquidity at 24, which funnily enough makes a new high. Liquidity at 20. So for me, liquidity at 14.5, so we may get a pullback to about here. If we do, there's more, there's buyers there, there's sellers there and sellers there. So let's consider that a new low. It's the same as there. So there's a first entry. If we can get a failure here, then I might be interested in that. I prefer to pick up these buy orders here. Yeah, it's not the easiest day to trade today. It is moving, but it's very choppy, isn't it? There's loads of areas of just chop. Be nice to get a trade today, but I'm not going to force one. Let's hope we may get a little bit of a pullback there. What indicator for liquidity is that? If you've got a spare screen, bud, go onto YouTube and type in Bookmap Live. I'll show you what it is. It's this here. And what it does, these are the areas, these strong areas of liquidity up here. That's a compressed version, so I know there's liquidity at 18, I know there's some at 20, and I know there's some at 4. So if you look at this, you can clearly see it's starting to work up, and it's working up to these areas. So it's free, that is. So just click Bookmap Live. Make sure you click the ES version, because there's an NQ version as well. Don't click the NQ, will you? Because you'll be trading the wrong chart. But that gives you areas where there's liquidity, which is telling me there's liquidity there, there's liquidity there. And look what's happening. It's slowly pulling up. And that's free just to watch that, Stan. But it will help you keep in the right direction and stay out of more traps. So that ain't going to happen. So it does look like we're trying to make a new high. 24 is the highest lot of liquidity, and funnily enough, it's made a new high. And I dare say there'll be some shorts in there. And that's the high of the day. So if we can get a failure here. But bearing in mind, we've had this overshoot, so we could be coming down. Now, we've had this channel and we've had a break, so we could come down lower, so you've still got to be careful. You know, there is a possibility. Look what happened here. We had that same sort of overshoot there, and we came down. Overshoot him, we came down. You move up and you think, oh, we're going long again, and what happens? It comes down again, so you've got to be so careful. You might think, oh, failure, we're going long. And then look what's happening. I'm not saying it's going to, but that's pretty bearish. There's twice the amount of aggressive sellers and buyers, so there we go. You may have gone long there, thinking we're going up. You just got stopped out. We had a break, tried to go lower once, try to go lower twice. You may have took the failure. Your stop might be there. You may be getting stopped out. I'd say without bearish looking, it's going to take out them stops. That's the trouble, see. You break out of here and you think we're going long. So you jump in here, you jump in here, you jump in here. And because of this overshoot, we're coming down. And as it pushes out, all of a sudden it gets to a point and then goes wham, takes out that stop. And I'd say quite possibly these as well. It's probably going to come down below here. And I've been trapped in them so many times, so I'm aware of them now. Like I just mentioned, because we've had that overshoot, although it's looking like it's pushing up to make a new high, it's easy to get sucked into them trades. And then all of a sudden, 2 bars and, you know, your day's over. Thanks. So the price just likes to... Yeah, price... You've got to take into consideration 2 things. Price moves towards liquidity. That's how it's designed. So if there's money up here to short and not much down here, it'll graduate to that area. But that's when people put pending orders. So if you bought down here, you might put your take profit up there. So that's going to show as a sell order. Okay, that's going to be in an area of liquidity with lots of other traders. Now, you have to take into consideration the aggressive sellers and buyers that just hit the buy button. So you still have to have a setup. You know what I mean? I've tried just going with the liquidity and just buying randomly. It doesn't work. Right, so now with this overshoot, you're thinking we've had a break. Oh, look, bullish bar, I'll go long there. Higher low, I'll go long there again. Oh, look, there's another higher low there, I'll go long there again. What happens? Wham. 3 or 4 bars and every single stop is taken out. And that's why you've got to be careful. I got caught out in one of those the other day, a little overshoot, and I went long and the same happened to me. It didn't smash me like that. But just be aware that if you do get an overshoot, and it's not a massive one, it's not obvious, you may adjust that, see? But if you look, it's touching here nice, it's touching there nice, and it's touching there nice. It's a little bit out there. I wouldn't class that, but that one I would. And they can work in 2 ways. Sometimes you'll just get a mirror image the side and it'll push up, but in I think the majority of cases it acts as a reversal, and that's what it's done. It's pulled down, sucked in a load of buyers thinking we're going to go long, and wow, look at that. You can tell there's loads of buyers there just by that coming down. And I think if you know what's going on, you may I don't know, you may trade that. It's beyond me, to be fair. I'm aware of what happens, but it's not part of my strategy to go short there. But you can see what's happened, can't you? You know, if you didn't have that overshoot, people are thinking break now. Rightly so. We have a break out of this channel. We got the same problem there, see? Touched, overshoot there. What happens? Goes back. Look what's happening. It's sucking in loads of shorts there. Triggers them, pushes up strongly. Same here. But it's easy to think that break going long. Well, look at it. It's going long. It's pushed up through the EMA. We've got a higher low. Let's go long. And then all of a sudden, wham. So you've got to be aware of them. I get caught in them. I've been caught in them loads of times. So if you did get shafted there, don't feel bad. It's all part of the learning curve. And I've had a fair few of my own shafting days. Trust me. Let's have a look. You don't know. It's quite a hard day to trade today. There's lots of chop. Now, let's have a look here. Now, we haven't really confirmed this channel there. I just drew that out of curiosity, just to show you what might happen. So we've pushed down. We may come down some more. I don't know at the moment. All I know is the liquidity at 13. It is drying up. The highest lump of liquidity, there's a bit at 24, only a little bit. And the liquidity is coming down here now, which is telling me it's pushing these prices down, or if it's coming up, it's hitting a sell order and coming down some more. So 13 and 14, so around about those areas there. So it may get up there and come down some more. So, but you can see how people can get sucked in there. You buy, you think, yeah, we're old, we're going right to the top, and then all of a sudden, you don't even have a chance to move your stop. You get 2 quick bars and you're out. But I learn these things by getting shafted, basically. If you're losing trades when you're learning, it's a good thing because you're learning, and that's the only way you progress. And then just wait for a good setup. You went long from 44.12, 44.12. Oh, here. You went long, yeah. Did it take you out, did it? Or did you manage to get some first? Because you usually hold, didn't you? And then reverse, yeah. 44.12. So you went in about here. So you'd have got 4 or 5 points, depending on where you went out. But if you went long, I'm assuming you thought it was going north as well, did you, bud? Now, I'm aware of these at the moment. I'm hyper aware of these. I noticed that one, if you notice, and this one. Reason being, because 3 days ago, was it Thursday or Friday? Same happened to me. I didn't notice an overshoot and went long. But as I say, the more times you mess up, the more you learn. So don't feel bad if you got shafted there. Think upon it as a good lesson, a good school day. I'm not sure what's going on now. You took all my profit, maybe, yeah. So I suppose if you went here, you moved your profit up under there, did you? And probably a bit more, but yeah, that's the thing in these. It's so easy to think, break, we're going north. You jump in here, you think, yeah, look, I've got about 8 points. It's going up. And then all of a sudden, a few traders get trapped, and all of a sudden it drops quick. You anticipate the pullback, yeah. That's the thing. But the trouble is, there's no guarantee it's going to do that. It could work up. But as long as you're aware of it, then, you know, it'll help you keep in good stead. But don't worry about screwing up. I've blown about 100 and... What am I on? I've blown 160 evaluations and about 18, 19 PA accounts. I know a guy, or I've heard of a guy, who's blown over 500 evaluations, so don't worry about blowing them. Bye for now, Sonny. Yeah, you too. Thanks, Sania. Take care, bud. I've got about another 30 minutes left. I didn't think we'd go through 2 days without a trade, but I just can't see anything worth really taking. Liquidity at 12, so we may have just a couple of legs up and then down again. I would expect with that. Let's look what happened in the last time. So, excuse me, the overshoot. We came down, we had another shoot, we went up, we had another shoot, we came down, first leg. I expect to get down to here, so if we can get a decent short... So we got leg. If we can get a decent, yeah, see, if we can get a decent short here, then I might. Unfortunately, that's just no good. In fact, if you took that second entry short, I'd say you're almost certainly going to get stopped down. 500, I know, yeah. So, if you're taking about 70 or 80 evaluations and you think you're about the worst in the world, trust me, you ain't. And that's what I've heard of. I dare say there's more out there. They've taken more than that. I went for a stage of just gambling them. Do you know, I sat here one evening and I'd had a really shit day, and I sat here with a bottle of whiskey and I had a couple of whiskies and had a couple more, and within about an hour and a half I'd blown 10. I'd taken 2 evaluations. When they were 90% off, I did 2 evaluations, just tried to get the 3,000 in one go, blew 2. Got another 2 straight after, and I did that 5 times over the space of about an hour and a quarter, hour and a half, and blew 10 accounts while I was half drunk, because I was that angry and frustrated and I wanted to battle the market, you know, thinking this is the way, I'll get lucky. If I can get lucky on the eval, then I'll be okay on the... It doesn't work that way. You're going to blow loads of account. Don't worry about blowing them, but you'll go through your own battles. Possible second entry short here. You'll go through your own battles. 12, so there's some liquidity there. So if we can get to around about here, count that as a new low, second entry short. Same again, you got to be careful because we could still go up. I don't think we will. There's liquidity at 06, which is there, which is below there. And there's liquidity at 12, which is here. Possible second entry short. I prefer another bar up. Pick up this liquidity, which is shorts, and then come down. You blew 25 by pure gambling. Oh, yeah. Press 5. Yeah, I've done it myself, mate. Many times I take the full whack 10 and I just click sell. I've got one in here. They are 5 contracts, and I just click sell twice, the maximum amount. Yeah, it's so odd. Okay, that liquidity has been hit. So let's see what happens now. I mean, it is possible we could still push higher yet. And it may suck in some more longs. Just confirm the big trend line in the overnight lows. Big trend line. Are you considering that as your overnight lows? Oh, here. I see what you mean. I did try that, and it did fit, but it's just such a wide channel. It just, sometimes the wider the channel, it just doesn't look right. No, that doesn't look right to me. Just too wide that is at the moment. And if that's the case, you may go long here. So I don't know. Sometimes I draw the bigger stuff, it gets me into trouble. Still not a fan of that, going short. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I did try that myself, actually. I put a line from there to there, because in a strange way, it does sort of... in a strange way, it does fit, but it's that bit that stresses me out. If it was like this, I'd say yeah, but the fact that it's... it just looks a bit big there. If it was like this, it wouldn't be so bad, but... I mean, we've clearly seemed to be having a slight upward bias. So we still may go up. We may retest this top. We may push up higher. So we've had this overshoot. We've got a leg and a leg. This may suck in some more longs again. So we've got a new low here. Try go to once. You may take that trade. It's a bit on our day to trade, really. It's not very clear. It's not often I don't have. It's not often I don't miss two trades. I don't have any trades in 2 days, but it's just a bit too dangerous, really. It's very choppy. Could be leg break leg, and then come down. See, when we had that overshoot, we came down quite a bit. When we had that overshoot, we came up quite a bit, and we haven't come down much. So let's just put that there and see what happens here. It's not fantastic looking, but I've seen worse. Let's see what happens here, because we could have a leg and a leg. So far range day. Yeah. Clearly ranging. Lots of buy-in at 213. Shit. Lots of buy-in there. So interesting. Strong at 13. Getting strong at 20. So it is possible we are going to start working higher. We've had a leg and a leg. It's not a perfect measured leg, but penguin entered the bottom of that red bar. That one there. I like him, actually. I think he's a good trader. He's one of the best I see that's trade sort of our strategy. He's very technical. He knows what he's talking about. And I like the fact he puts his losses as well. He doesn't have a lot of them, but he does have them. And he publishes them, and I like that one. Was recommended by someone to come here. New sub. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Pepper Coco. Are you, where are you from, bud? Are you UK, US based? I think most of you guys are US. See you, Lance. Past cut-off time. Good for you, mate. Good on you, Chris. I'll see you back here again tomorrow, bud. Good luck. Thank you. Penguin's a man. He is good. I wish he'd stream live. In fact, if he streamed live, I think I'd watch it myself, in all honesty. For me, looking bullish here is starting to look bullish, isn't it? See what happens. If we get a breakdown here and pick up this, then we might push up. That's the trouble. See, when we had this overshoot here, we started coming down. When we had this overshoot here, we started trending up. And when we had this overshoot here, it's feasible we could trend down. So it's hard to know here, because also, depending on whether you were really bothered about that being an overshoot, I suppose you could adjust it. It's hard to say really, but it could just be a couple of legs and then slowly working higher. But the trouble is, you got into trades there and all of a sudden you got your ass handed on a plate. So it's hard to say really. It's hard to say. So I just don't know. You could squeeze that to there. Nothing wrong with that. It's not the best looking channel, is it? Trouble is, it's not hard to link up three tops, is it? Okay, liquidity is strong. The liquidity is strong in this one. There is some there. Some sell orders. 18. Some at 24. So it's hard to know. I'm a bit unsure what's going on here. I think this is fading now. There's some buy orders there. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe as we are pushing up. To be fair, I haven't seen any great trades today, in all honesty. I dare say Mac will probably find a couple of dozen, but actually he's away, isn't he? But we do seem to have a bit of an upward bias. It'd be interesting to see if we do push up some more. Pushed up, come back down. I mean, it's clearly just a range day, but it's a range day that has sort of founded a little bit of upwards momentum. But it's not very clear, that's for certain. Yeah, see, I'm due to finish soon, but trouble is, I finished yesterday and I saw a couple of good trades later in the day. I might just, my wife's out at the moment, I might just trade till she comes back. She ain't out of the way. Okay, little channel there. We had a break. Possible new high. Strong at 18, strong at 20. What to do? I don't even know whether I'm going long or short at the moment. I think it's so hard to say really. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it? excuse me, there's certainly strong liquidity up here, so maybe we're going to have a leg and a break and another leg. That hasn't materialised, so let's see. We may have a leg and let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, so depending on how this goes, that's going to take us up to these new highs. So it's hard to say at the moment. I'm not a fan of this channel. That's not to say it's not valid, but it's not what I call a really nice one. In fact, let's get rid of it. Yeah, a break. A couple of legs up and a new low. Look at that one's pushing up. Maybe second entry long, push higher. It does look it's trying to push higher. I mean, the trouble is it did there and it sucked in some longs and then stuffed you all out. So it is possible the same could happen here. Also could be a bit of a bull flag there. Push up a little bit of sideways and push up again. Quality strong there, strong there. I'm expecting it to push up some more. Are you from Australia? Midnight here. Okay, are you a cricket fan? This is going to determine how well me and you get on. There's a couple of Aussies there. There's a couple on here. Did someone take a triple test? I don't know. Are you on about down here? I did look at this. The trouble is, I didn't like this bit. Could say touch, but it broke through there, so it's hard to know. You take it might stop you out and come down and in a downward channel. I'm not convinced we're going up. I think we are, but the trouble is, we had the same here. We had the overshoot, came back down, pushed up a few times, and then continued down. And we may have the same overshoot here, pushed up, pushed down, pushed up a couple of times, and then continued down. So we've got a big strong bar there, so that could... There's almost definitely going to be some longs there, maybe there. So you just got to be so careful. You don't know whether we're going to get the same paste in there. Yeah, it's just not very clear to me. Push up. Might fade that a little bit if you were confident it's going long. I'm not really. What I will say is this liquidity is stronger up here, so I think it's more likely to go up. But that's not something I want to get in on. Offer 4407. 4407. Oh, you went off there, did you? Oh, that there. Yeah. 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 Uh, 1920, strong liquidity here. Tough day today. Not a lot of setups. Quite choppy, bouncing up and down all over the place. I mean, it is working within channels, but there's just no real setups. Okay, you could fade that. Say we're going up. I'd say it's more probable we're going up. Strong buy-in at 44.14. There's some strong buy-in here. Let's have a look. Strong buying. It's gone. It's gone. You took that one, did you? Yeah. Trouble is with that, see, we hadn't made a new low, and you just don't know after this here, so... but you may have taken it back to the EMA, certainly. Slightly go back to the EMA. Took profit 44.15, yeah. Yeah, I think if I took that after that push, I think I'd put my stop 2 ticks below that one. If it triggers it with a tick, it might push up. If it triggers it with 2 ticks, it might push down. So I think that's probably what I put mine. Interesting. Pushed out quite bearish. Yeah, it's hard to know what's going on now. See, I thought we might have a leg, another leg. We still might, but just look at that. Let's see if it triggers below there. Okay, it's triggered that. Now let's see what happens. Let's see if we come down or we push up. So let's have a look. Triple test. So there'll probably be some more there going long, thinking maybe make the new highs. Possibly some there. Well, most definitely some here. So let's see what happens, whether this pushes down and does the same thing as that. It may well do. Because I don't like getting out of bed in the morning, purely and simply. No, I mean, I didn't specifically pick the ES. I use Max Strategy from priceactiontradingsystem.com, and that's I just started trading with the ES, following the same setups as Mac and a bunch of other. That's why I did it. There's no particular reason. Yeah, I mean, I could trade UK markets, but it would mean I'd be trading from 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's just too much going on this house. Wife's getting ready for work, daughter's getting ready for school. It's just too stressful. I'd rather trade in the afternoon, so one, I don't have to get out of bed so early, although I do, because I do my daughter breakfast and that sort of stuff. I usually get her to school, but it's just easier. This is for me. There's a lull in the afternoon, not loads of time. So interesting. So we've pushed sideways there. We've broken above this, had a nice big bearish bar. It's broken below there. It's triggered. You'd have just about got a point, and it's pushing up. So we're going to get a lower high and come down, or are we going to push up? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just not very clear. It's a bit too choppy. It's hard to trade at the moment. I know where these levels are, but it doesn't mean they're going to get there. You've still got to rely on enough aggressive buyers and sellers to go, I like that bar, let's go long, you know what I mean? Which we're not getting at the moment because it's just choppy. Wish you didn't have to get up early to trade. Yes, if you trade the UK markets, you'd be trading about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You could trade Asian markets. From what Max says, you can trade any market, any time frame, any chart. Exactly the same with price action. You trade Asian markets, things like the Nikkei and that. It's just I didn't pick this. It's just what came along with Mac. That's all. Okay, so we've had a break from this channel, but I don't know what's going on here. I'm not convinced. I'm not confident enough to trade anything. Yeah, you got Asian markets. You could have a look at those. See what happens there. Okay, so we've had a break out of this new high, but look, it's just choppy, isn't it? It's choppy and a bit unpredictable. We had a big bearish bar there. It came down. You thought that might push down, possibly take out some of these stops, and then all of a sudden the buyers came in and pushed it up one tick above this, and you got stopped out. Got talking to his wife. Now he's taking no trade. Super careful. Now this is good for me, actually. I just seem to have found a nice balance. I just hope it bloody lasts. Morning person. I'm New York time. Yeah. That's the beauty of trading. You can trade any sort of time frame you like. There's always something. Central Standard Time, so it's an hour earlier. Yeah. So what are you? 8 o'clock. When do the official markets open? They're 9 o'clock or 9:15. Oh no, 9:30, aren't they? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah, 9:30. So you're 8:30. That's not terrible. 8:30. At least you haven't got to go out to work, have you? You just got to literally spill out of bed and there you are. That's part of the reason why I like it. It's a 3-hour day and I work from home. I love it. No going out to work. Nothing like going out in the mornings, early mornings, and having to bloody de-ice the car for the first 20 minutes. You're freezing your knackers off. I hate that, I do. Okay, so we've had a push up, bearish bar there. See if that trigger. I don't know. You can't trade that really. It's hard to know what's doing. You don't know whether, we're now working on this. You could probably adjust this actually to there, I'd say. Let's have a look. That works. Touched a couple of times there and a couple of times there. Touch there, touch there. Touched a few times here, touch there, body. I think that's as good as anywhere. That's the one I wanted. Where are you? Let's push that up a tick. There we go. Fits quite nice, actually, in all fairness. I mean, you may put it up here, but I tend to try and put it where there's most touches. But look how slow it is and just awkward, isn't it? Down here, a couple of pushes up, quickly down, then back up, and then a couple of zigzags. It's just not very clear today. Once again, Lance, I'm amazed by your patience, mate. Well done. Thank you. I think I've just finally realised it's the only thing I can do. There's no one more amazed than me, mate, in all fairness. But I just... what I found is the last week, I've just changed a bit. And I don't have that horrible feeling I used to have anymore. And it's gone. And I really like the way I feel now. And I've got a payment. And my accounts are building nice. So it just goes to show, if you follow the rules and do things the right way, things happen. Obviously, you need some experience as well to know how to trade the charts. But trading London Open works well for me, as I can do my analysis while shouting at the kids in bed. By the time I'm back dropping them off. Yeah, so what is it you trade there, Edward? What is it you trade? I don't even I'll have to go and have a look at them. What are they? What do you trade? What is it? Is it the FTSE, isn't it? I'm assuming the FTSE do futures, don't they? I'll have to look into it. I'll have to have a look into it. Have a browse. Trouble is it as liquid as the S&P and the Nasdaq? I don't know if it is it? I'll have to have a look. I'll have to have a look into it. I believe, well, yeah, I'm assuming you can obviously do with Apex, can't you? There's dozens of markets you can trade with Apex. But I believe everything trades the same. Interesting. Have a look at it, actually. See if it... I mean, you would think each market would have its own slight characteristics, but really, what we're sort of battling here is human behaviour, isn't it? So human beings trading this should behave in the same way as human beings trade in any market, really. The DAX or the EU and the US? Yeah, the DAX. I thought the DAX was an American, no? Yeah, I've traded currency before. I started trading currency. I found it a pain in the ass. Mind you, I was trading bigger time frames then, so maybe. I know we got the FTSE. I'm not too aware. It's more American markets I've sort of, studied a little bit. I'm more aware of. Such a tough day today. There's still lots of liquidity. The DAX. Oh, the DAX is due. Okay, right. So that's about a couple of hours ahead, isn't it? Well, let's have a look into that. So Germany are, I believe, about 2 hours ahead. So that would be better, actually. So we 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. So I could trade the 11:30 the DAX, couldn't I? And then probably trade the S&P if I don't get no luck with it. I don't know. It's always worth having a look at. Yeah, it's just not clear at all today, is it? In all fairness, you saying that, Speedy, I just haven't seen anything that's floated my boat, really. I mean, triple test, I'm not a fan of them when they're quite a ways apart and the two pushes are more or less at the same time. I prefer it to come down once a second time and then a third time a bit further apart. But apart from that, I can't really see. I mean, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if the Penguin guy got caught there, because he'd have seen a channel down there, 2 attempts to go higher, failure. Now, he may take that, but what I've noticed he does sometimes is he'll let it move a bit, and he'll maybe take his order down here, and he'll have a bigger stop and a bigger risk, but he lets it go a lot of the time, so whether he'll be in that trade or not, but I can hear him saying this. We've had a channel down, we've had a break, we've made 2 attempts to go higher, failure. So it'd be interesting to see how we got on. Excuse me. No trades today, no trades yesterday. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. I mean, there's nothing I can see really that's jumped out at me, in all honesty. I like to think we're going lower, but not enough to jump in on a trade. I mean, you may have took that one, but after that lot down, up, down, it's just a bit unpredictable. I mean, we're clearly fighting the top of this trend channel, aren't we? So we're going to go higher? Who knows? There is more liquidity here. I think it's probably lightly, but I don't really want to trade on probably lightly. He does take a loss. Yeah, he does, yeah. He does. That's why I like him, because he shows them. That's what I mean. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get in there. He just may let it move a bit first. If it moves, depends where he jumped in on it. I mean, it went down maybe 3 ticks, so he might let that move a bit. But he doesn't always just drop it in below the signal bar. A lot of times I see him allowing it to move, and I kind of like that one. Makes sense. Sometimes it's good to see how things react. I mean, there was a second entry short there. You may have taken that one because it confirmed that trend channel, but the bar wasn't that good. That's why I left it. A couple of ticks lower and I'd have been all over that. The trouble is now, see, you've got longs probably in there. You've got longs in there, and you may have longs in there. Same principle as there. It may come tumbling down. So there's 3 lots of longs there. High, low. You'd have probably taken, in fact, that was a failure. You'd have probably taken that. Thinking about it, it wasn't a half bad trade, in all honesty. So there's probably some longs there. Thinking we're pushing up. Maybe some there. Possibly some there. I don't like it when it moves slowly and sideways with a bit of up, because sometimes it does move in different directions really quick. That's when did you get a payment and how much? I've had 3 so far. 1 in January, 1 in the middle of April, and I apply for one and it was confirmed, which will be in my bank day after tomorrow. 15th it's usually in, sometimes a bit early depending on what it. But I've had 3 $2,000 payments, and if this this one PA account goes well in the next week, I'll pull another one out at the end of the month. But not everyone knows you can take, even from your very first ones, you can take $2,000 out of each month for the first 3 months. So theoretically, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, you can take $12,000 out your account in the first 3 months out of one $50,000 PA account. It does look like it's trying to push higher. But I get wary of these because sometimes they can just drop really quickly. So yeah, so I'll get my I'll show you. I'll get my one, it'll be in a couple of days. Where are we? Request payout. There we go. There you go. There she is. I took that one out. I applied for that on the 3rd. That's been approved after 16 days of trading. So that'll be in the account. If not tomorrow, it'll be in... it's the 15th of the month anyway. Payout dates, requests between the 1st and 5th of the month, paid on the 15th, and then request payouts between the 15th and the 20th, paid out on the last day of the month. So you can get paid on the 15th and the 30th, so it's 2 in a month. So hopefully if my account goes as well as I think it is at the moment, then I may have a second one. We'll see. But I've got 3 P accounts, I've got another 3 evaluations which are all over $2,000, which should go live next week. Yeah, it is slowly grinding higher. In fact, I'm starting to think now that we are getting a leg and another nice trend now. I personally think this is happening now. It's pushing up sideways down a bit and it's slowly working higher. That's what I think's happening. So we've gone a bit sideways here, up, down, blah, blah, blah. We've gone up. We've had 2 legs of correction and we're making up. We haven't had 2 trends back to back. We had a small one, then another one, but we've got a larger one here, and I think we're moving up. There's liquidity up as much as 25, but I think that liquidity will start to get drawn up. People will move it if they're taking trades here. So, in all fairness, I don't think that's a terrible place to take a trade, but we've had a push up. But to me, yeah, you see it a lot. It does look like the start of a nice, slow trend. Thanks, I'm struggling so much. I know how to trade. Never seem to follow the rules. Any advice? First and foremost, don't beat yourself up because we've all been there. And I've struggled up until recently. The only thing you can do, mate, and the only way it works is I'm the same as you. I can trade. I know a setup, but if it doesn't feel right, something's not right, you have to leave it alone. You have to wait for a real blinder, and what I mean is a real good, obvious setup. You take those, leave the rest of the shit, and it'll work. Not only that, if you take a trade that you believe to be a good trade and it fails, it doesn't affect you that much. If you take a trade and you knew you were bending the rules, they're the ones that play on your mind, and those are the ones that lead to blown accounts. So the only thing you can do, mate, is wait for a good setup. Now, I sat here for 3.5 hours yesterday, and I've sat here for 3.5 hours today, and I haven't taken a trade. Not because there hasn't been some risky ones, because there hasn't been ones good enough. And if you sit and wait for those, it'd work. As long as you've got, the basic skills enough to be able to spot a good channel and to not get trapped. I mean, we touched here, touched a few times here, touched here. To me, this is looking like a nice, so I'm looking for a long at the moment. And I've got this book map above me, and I know there are areas around here and here, so for me, it's slowly getting dragged up. But it's waiting for a setup. If it's a half-hearted one or something doesn't feel right, you have to leave it alone. If you see a really good setup, you can't get your order in quick enough. You know a good setup. And that's the only way it works. And it's took me a long time to realise that. And it's only recently, over the last week or so, that things are changing for me. So I'm not far ahead of you, mate. But you have to wait for a good setup. It just does not work. You know, so many times I've said I pretty much know it's going up, and it has. But, you know, I looked at that and pretty much knew it was going up. But I can't get in because there's no setup. So you have to wait for a setup and nothing less than that. And if you do that, it'll work, I assure you. Okay, so that liquidity's got eaten up. There is liquidity now at 20, and it's very strong at 24.25. Now, from what I can see, we're making a slow, steady mark. ATR's come down, so we're making a slow trend up. But as much as I'm confident we're pushing up, and I did this a couple of weeks ago, I remember Max saying every time it comes back to the trend line, you take a long, and I did it. The second I went long on one contract, it ticked above me and stopped me out. So, regardless of what anyone tells you, you wait for a good setup, you take it and commit. If it goes sideways, you've got the option to get out for break even if you so desire. But the only way it works is wait for a setup that jumps at you. You know them because you will have seen them time to time, yeah? They'll jump out at you. You can't get your order in quick enough. Those are the ones you need to wait for. Now, if you only find one a day or 5 a week and you're trading 2 contracts, you made $1,000 a week. You times that by 10 accounts. That's $10,000 a week potentially. It's dawned on me. I'm trading too much. I'm looking for too many. So I'm trying too hard. Slow it down, wait for the good setups, concentrate on getting 1 a day. If you're lucky enough to see another beautiful setup, then take it. That's the best advice I can give you, mate. Appreciate it. Anytime, mate. We're all there. And another thing as well, don't give up. Keep battling. Things come to those who wait. Keep trying, keep working at it. And, we all hear stories about 95% of traders will never make it. That's because they give up, mate. And I know they give up because I know how hard it is. And you have to work hard at it, and it does take time. But if you keep persevering, keep trying, and keep getting back to those basics and waiting for those good setups, you'll get there. I'm convinced that this is easily doable, but it's a tough battle, and you have to go through it. People have a lot tougher lives than learning to trade. So just keep battling away, and you'll be right, mate. Took that second entry short that Lance was talking about. I knew it was too wide. Still took it. Yeah. You'll get there, mate. Every time you fail at something or lose a trade or something, like the other day, last week, I lost a trade because I missed an overshoot. Now, look, I spotted that overshoot, and that overshoot. You know why? Because I lost a trade based on it. So every time you lose a trade for a certain thing you miss, you tend to get you're a little hyper alert then. And I missed that one, yeah. If I didn't, I'd be jumping in here thinking, we'll go long there, thinking, yeah, happy days, I've got all this to go, and look what happened. It goes up 1.5 points and comes down, so I'd have got shafted there. But because I'm hyper alert about these, but don't worry about blowing. It's human nature to trade that way. We don't know any different. And you're always going to lose trades, but they'll be few and far between if you wait for the good setups. Anything that you feel something doesn't feel right, stay out of it. That's usually, you feel like that usually for a reason. Excuse me. I'm still looking to go long there, but you could say this is a failure. Trouble is, I don't know. What I don't want to do is take something stupid right at the end of the day because I want to get a trade. If I don't find something, then yeah, I know what you're saying. You took that trade, yeah. You'll do that. You'll tease yourself. You'll dare yourself almost. Sometimes you even sort of punish yourself in a strange way. Out of frustration, you punish yourself. Done it myself. If I've had a bad day and something's pissed me off, I'll go long. If something messes up, it's my own stupid fault. You do strange stuff like that, surprisingly enough. I just don't like that big bearish bar there. See, every time we've pushed above here, we've come back. Same here, we've come back. Same here, we've come back. It's feasible to say we're going to do the same. So you've got to be careful taking these. See, it is a failure, but I just don't like that big bar. I'd much prefer it to work higher. Give that chance to get trapped, let it tick above you, and then see what it does. And if it keeps moving up, then think about taking it. But if you look at that, touched. If that finishes bullish, that's asking to be taken, but it's only a first entry. It is a failure, but if you look, we've come up to this side of this channel here, and we've come so far back here, and we've come back even less here. So I think it's dangerous. Wait for it to start moving and take a higher low or something, because we are battling along this top of this trend line as well. And every time we've pushed up here, there, back there, and here, we've come back down. Yeah, don't beat yourself up for blowing stuff. I mean, I've literally had my heads in my hand with a whiskey in my hand thinking, I can't believe I've done it again. It's sickening. It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. But if you keep doing it, and the more you have that horrible feeling, the more you'll get sick of it, I think. That's what I do. You know, many times if the stream finished, straight away I'd hit the buy or sell button because I was down and I'd want my money back. And as soon as you hit that buy or sell button, straight away you start to feel sick, and you try and scrappily get a few trades. And then if you get a few ticks, what happens? You do the same again. And if it starts to move, you might hit it 5 times. And same again, you'll get that horrible, sickening feeling. It's horrible. And I've had enough of it. I can't take it anymore, which is why I've just stopped doing it. At the end of my stream now, I just finish. Occasionally, I might I'll come on the stream a bit earlier and speed up an evaluation. I've got no problem with doing that. I don't mind speed evaluations. I know lots of traders that do it. So if you're taking that long that long there off that key entry point, you'd be shitting yourself now, wouldn't you? It's a horrible feeling. You've got to wait for a proper setup. I mean, it's off the key entry point. May work, but it's not a good setup. Wait for a higher low or something. And now you give it a chance to get trapped. It's triggered. It hasn't broken these lows, so that's a good sign. So let's see if it starts to work again. So, but we're aware of these liquidity levels off here. I don't think that's a terrible bar to take, actually, but it is a first entry. That's the downside. Now, you could say it's a failure, but I'm not a fan of it goes away so far. I much prefer to take something a bit further up. Now, it has respected that line there, so I prefer a higher low, really. Nothing worse to take a bar and see that happen. Every time you take a trade, you just want it to keep going. And then the next one finished bullish, but see what I mean? First entry, look at that. Straight away, if you're taking that trade now, your heart will be in your mouth. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but yeah, I mean, it is technically a failure. I just don't like the way that it hasn't gone further over. And that's what makes me nervous. Now, I'd rather give the shorts a chance to go, oh, I'll take that one. That's a lower high. I think we're coming down, break out of. Bear in mind, what you got to bear in mind is every time we've broken above this line here, here, we've pulled back into this range. So you have to be prepared for that. That's why it's risky taking longs here, really. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right, Osam. Things do get clearer. The more times you fail and lose stuff, it's like anything. You learn from your mistakes. It's the oldest saying in the book. You learn from your mistakes. So, don't beat yourself up from a loss. I'll read you something now, MK. Let's just put a paper there. Where is it? I can't find it. I got it. Okay. Yeah, this is for you, MK. I'll read this to you, mate. I was having a tough time a couple of months ago. I was blowing at accounts. I was really struggling. I was taking stupid trades. Okay, that's looking a bit more positive now. And a guy called Keycheck. Is it Richard Keycheck? Something Keycheck. sent me this message, and he put, "It seems that despite everything man hear or read, and despite our best intentions, it's still necessary to experience moments of madness and impulsive trading to finally be forged into a great trader." So everyone takes stupid trades, everyone takes stupid risks, everyone gambles and throws away accounts, everyone does it because it's a natural way. It's a natural reaction to losing something. But the more you do it, the more you'll start to learn to not do it, if you get what I'm saying. Like anything, you can stick a 16, 17-year-old lad into an army camp who's overweight, got long hair, can't get out of bed, and turn him into a fighting fit soldier. You can manipulate the body and the mind to do anything, within reason. So it does take time, and you are going to take stupid trades, but don't beat yourself up for taking a naff trade. Even if you knew it was a naff trade, but you just, you wanted some money or you wanted your money back, don't beat yourself up. It's all part of it, but it will happen, and it'll continue to happen until all of a sudden you may get sick to the back teeth of doing it, and then something will just change. So this is a casino, absolutely. Yeah, it's so easy. I suppose that I've had a friend recently who's had problems with gambling. Plays the online casinos and slots. He worked out. He told me, I went out for a beer with him a week or so ago. He lost about £1,700, and he'd had to go onto one of these apps which block him from all these places. So, it's very easy to get that buzz as well. You win a trade, you get the endorphins flowing. What you sort of have to do is just shut them off to a degree. Take a trade, win or lose, move on. Hopefully win. But at some point, I believe, you just get that sick of losing and sick of the crappy naff feeling you have. And sooner or later, I think something just changes. Was that payment you showed your first? Third, mate. That's me third. How many did you have? Third. I took one in January, one at the middle of January, one I think at the middle of April or at the end of April, and one now. So that's my third. Because same again, I built my PA account up to. There is a second entry long there. I prefer it to sit below there. Let me have a look. There's liquidity at 20. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, to be honest with you. I much prefer it to be further down here. Hopefully if we get another one, but no, I'm not interested in that. The more you do it, the less the wins feel like wins and the less the losses feel like, yeah, something changes. Your mind will adapt. It will. That's how we're built. We adapt. If you tell someone they're amazing every day, they look fantastic, they're amazing, sooner or later they'll start to believe you. Probably not the best analogy, but you know what I'm saying. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. Daughter coming in. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. It might be another day, another nothing. I don't mind. That's the way it is sometimes. Some days you might have 2 or 3 trades really quick. Other days you might not. Doji anyway, so you can't do nothing there. "15-minute charts, maybe second not too long." Yeah. See, trouble is, there's nothing really there. You may have taken that one, but I've taken them before, and they trigger you up, and they come down here, and it turns into a second entry long, slight break, and off it goes. You know, as I mentioned, it does look like it's starting to be a range. There is liquidity up here, but I've got to take a decent setup, otherwise it ain't going to work. It's the only way it works. You do that and you'll make it as a trader. Take what you believe to be a good setup and it'll all come to you. Okay, liquidity is at 20, so I'd say it's going to push it. Trouble is, there's just no real setup. You're trying to take a higher low, that's a doji. You could get a leg down and another leg down here. You might get a break and then a push up. You may have taken that as a failure. I'm still not a fan of it after that big drop there. You may have taken that one. That was probably, it's still only really, you can say it's a failure. I prefer failures when they go like this, not when they push right up and come back. But you may have taken that one. It worked anyway, but it's certainly off the key entry point. That's one thing it's got going for him. Triple top coming up. Yeah. See, the thing you got to be aware of is as I mentioned, every time it's come up here and here and here, it hasn't lasted and it's dropped. So is it going to do it this time? It may do, because we've had this channel and we've had a two-legged correction. We may, and I'll show you now this, look, we may have a wider channel here. I think we may get a break in a minute, personally. Let me have a look. It might be a spiking channel there. I think that, let me have a look, is probably a bit better. I think that is a spiking channel myself. Now, I might be wrong, but let's have a look. I think that is a spiking channel. Now, it might be slightly more like that. Possibly that looks a bit better, I think. Hard to say. We should hit 44.24. We certainly should. There's a great big lump of liquidity there. 365 orders sat there. There's not a lot down here. That's telling me it's slowly getting pulled up. But unfortunately, unless we get a setup, we just can't do nothing about it. Be nice to get a couple of pushes down. There's definitely less setups nowadays, that's for sure. But looking on the bright side, you only need an average of one a day. If you wait for a good quality setup, you should be, you know, and you've got a bit of experience. Just there's no reason why you can't be getting 9 out of 10 right, and in some cases a bit more, as long as you're not, you know, risking too much. As long as you're not trading for too much. I tend to go around the 2 points at the moment. Things are a bit, you know, if you've got a really strong trend going up and we get a beautiful setup there that I know there's going to be a lot of buyers jumping on, then I'll go for 3 or 4 or 5 points. The good setups, you get a really good setup. You look back over your charts, these really good setups just rocket up, don't they? But most of the time I'm around about the 2 points, and that's good enough for me. Finally break and pull back out the move. Yeah, I did mention that this may continue higher because we've had this channel and this couple of legs of correction. But it, who knows, it might just break this new high. I don't think there's any type of, someone mentioned that earlier. It was a bit too early, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. If it was down here, I'd say yeah, but it would have been nice to get a trade. It's not often I don't get 2 in a, well, I never get, don't get 2. It's none in 2 days. Okay, so that liquidity's been taken. There is a big lump here. I'm just hoping we get a bit of a comeback to this side before we push up. Because from what I can see, trouble is when we break that high, I'd like to get out a tick or 2 above that if I'm going to get out. If I do manage to get a long. Trouble is, as I said, every time it's come above here, it's dropped back in. Triple top. Yeah, the trouble is, it's not in a line though, is it? So yeah, all these tops from here to here to here so far have been slowly a little bit higher each time. So I know there's strong liquidities here, and that will make us hit the high of the day. In fact, that strong liquidity has moved to 25, which is here. Now, there's also a dollop at 24 still. I would prefer to get out a few ticks below here, because a lot of the time I've noticed it'll go up, get 2 or 3 ticks away, come back down, and then slowly go up again and take them out. But I'd much rather get out the first time. So looking upon it, see, Mac probably marked that one, but realistically, you could say it's a failure, but I'm not a fan of it that way because it pushes away quite far. I much prefer this type of one there and one there as a failure, not right up. But he might pick that as just, you know, taking it off the trend line, who knows. But, you know, looking now, I can see this. It wasn't a terrible bar to take, but who knows. If they work, they're okay. One leg, 2 leg, that leg there. Not far off. So hopefully if we can get a couple of legs back here, and then trouble is it's just not playing ball lately, is it? Long day today. Been trading 3 hours. I only usually do 3 hours, but wife's out at the moment, so no trades. I'm quite nice, relaxed, so no harm in trading a bit longer. Okay, so that measured move's played out. Let's get rid. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether this does go up. There's the high of the day so far. Unfortunately, it's just way too far away. I mean, if you got a 3-point stop, it's not so bad, but... Okay, so let's adjust this a bit now. That would make more sense. Beautiful. Let's have a look. Okay, I like that. Let's put that there. Okay. Yeah, let's call that a bit of a spike. That's probably not too bad. Touching there, touching there, touching there, touching here. Maybe break the high and then come back down. So, okay, that's a new high. So there is a little bit of liquidity building around about the 44.20. So if we can get maybe a couple of legs down and then another push up, I do believe it's coming up here. Makes perfect sense. We're clearly working up. We've made a new high of the day. If we can get back to this side without making an overshoot, then I think we're going to push a bit higher. So leg, there's a couple of small legs there if you like that. A little bit of leg, a little bit of sideways. Trouble is, it's not the most exciting place to buy there, is it? So I'd say the buyers will hold off. In fact, you can see the buyers are at 2021 around about here. So I'd say it's likely to come back to this area. Hopefully, a couple of legs would be nice. I mean, we're still within this channel looking nice, so that's fine. That liquidity is still strong between this area, so if we can get back here, I'll be happy with a couple of points on a day like this. And then all that patience is paid off. Okay, that liquidity is now getting sucked up. So let's get that out of the way. So it's gone to the top of the channel. It hasn't broken out. It's right at the bottom of the channel there. So if we can get a higher low, I think that's looking nice then to go long. There is some at 15. I don't think it'll get this low, but we need a decent setup. So this will tell us whether we're going to come back into this range or we're going to push higher. I'd say it's likely we're going to push higher because we haven't had an overshoot and everything fits still nice in there. So I'd say, now that's still within the channel. See what happens when it ticks above it. If it ticks above it. We've made a new high of the day. Oh. Yeah, some aggressive sellers just sold there. Okay, see, working nice in there, and then look what happened. We broke above this range again, and then dropped. I said it may happen. Every time it's been above there, it came down. Same again, came down. Even that small drop came down. That push up came down. So, now what do we do? Now let's see if we bounce. What do we do there? We came straight back in. We came straight back in. There, we came straight back in. Let's see if we can bounce and push up. It's just trying to think where there's going to be some longs. There's going to be some longs, I'd say, there. Maybe still in there, maybe out, who knows. See if that stops them out. There'll be some there. I don't doubt. And maybe some there. So let's see if what happens. See if it just tanks. Maybe there. Let's put some here. So there is a possibility. Leg. This could come down here and take out that lot. Hmm. 2 days, no trades. Trouble is, there's been nothing really. Yeah, trouble is, that's quite a bit lower, isn't it? There lies the problem. Let's see if prices hold. Maybe not. Okay, so any stops there have been taken. There and there. See if it does pull down. May do actually. So there and there. That would eat up. Apart from this bit, it would take any there. So you may have taken that one. Possibly there. Certainly there. Well, I think I'm going to have to knock up the head for the day, I think. No trades today. That's fine. I've not got a problem with that. It happens sometimes. I'd rather go home 0 than go home on a loss. So there we go. So that's it for today, folks. I'll be back here again tomorrow. Really choppy, tough day today. Nothing that I can really see worth taking, to be honest with you. So that's it for today. I'll be back again tomorrow, normal time. Hopefully, we might get a better day tomorrow. Not sure what news we've got available tomorrow, but there you go. So we'll see how we get on tomorrow. So have a great evening, guys. Stay safe. I'm going to go now and have my tea and relax. So have a great evening. Appreciate all the comments as usual. Have a great evening, and we'll talk again same time tomorrow. Bye bye for now.